Chapter 464, You're just looking for trouble. Secret Agent Hua Hua saw that Xue Wuji did not lie. Only then did she relax. Yun Chujiu, that little girl, was clearly in love with Di Baiming. If their young master was really moved, then he was just looking for trouble. No. I have to go check on little sister Jiu. I think I heard little sister Jiu calling for help just now. No, actually, I'm going to check on Di Baiming's facial paralysis. Xue Wuji got up from the bed and ran out of the room. Secret Agent Hua Hua frowned. Was the first half or the second half of the young master's sentence true? Xue Wuji soon arrived outside Yun Chuji's courtyard. Di Baiming, come out. How can you bully little sister Jiu, a girl? Inside the house, Yun Chujiu just said that the culprit was Wu Ji's head and asked Di Baiming to beat Xue Wuji up. Then, Xue Wuji shouted at the door of the courtyard. Yun Chujiu gave Xue Wuji a thumbs up in her heart. Xue Wuji had finally done a good deed. He should quickly get the attention of Di Baiming so that he would not find trouble with her. Di Baiming heard Xue Wuji's shout and glared at Yun Chujiu before leaving the house. Xue Wuji saw Di Baiming and Yun Chujiu come out. Noticing Yun Chuji's disheveled hair, he could not help but sneer, Di Baiming, I didn't expect that a man like you would bully a weak girl like little sister Jiu. How disgraceful. Little sister Jiu, you don't have to be afraid. Big brother will take care of you. Di Baiming had always disliked Xue Wuji, so when he heard him say this, he snorted coldly, Xue Wuji, do you want to spar? This is the Linghua faction, so it's not good for us to fight. If you want to fight, follow me out and find a place. It'll help you sober up. Xue Wuji's eyes flickered a few times. He was not fucking stupid. He could not beat this wooden-faced man at all. He would only leave if his head had been struck. This young master is now infected with a cold. Otherwise, would I still be afraid of you? Little sister Jiu, you drank so much yesterday. Does your head hurt? Big brother has a sober fruit here. You'll feel much better after eating one. Xue Wuji took out a red spirit fruit from his storage ring. Yun Chujiu was about to reach out to take it when she saw Di Baiming's fierce eyes. She said against her heart, Brother Wuji, it's all right. I feel fine. Xue Wuji threw the fruit to Yun Chujiu. Yun Chujiu caught it subconsciously. Xue Wuji said, Di Baiming, you can't be so stingy, right? Don't you have confidence that you can't beat me? Is that why you tried so hard to stop me from getting along with little sister Jiu? Di Baiming laughed out loud, Xue Wuji, you think too highly of yourself. You? I've never considered you a worthy opponent. Xue Wuji rolled up his sleeves, Di Baiming. Don't talk big. Do you dare to fight me for 300 rounds? Why not? Please. Let's find a place outside the Linghua faction to spar. Di Baiming raised his eyebrows. He didn't expect Xue Wuji to change his mind so quickly. Just now, he even said that he was infected with a cold. There's no need to go outside the Linghua sect. With little sister Jiu and the three of us, we can fight the landlord. Today, I will make you and little sister Jiu lose everything. Xue Wuji said confidently. He thought to himself, Di Baiming had never played this so-called fight the landlord before. It must be very smelly. Secret Agent Hua Hua almost fainted. Young master, you are simply asking for trouble. If you lose, you should howl again when you go back. Chapter 465, was limited in number. Secret Agent Hua Hua's hunch was right. Xue Wuji left the courtyard with a howl. Di Baiming was in a better mood after winning against Xue Wuji. Yun Chujiu began to fawn over him. Dear Prince Charming, please forgive me. Look at how many rounds I bet her against Wuji just now. We are in a beautiful relationship. Wuji and I are not even friends. Aren't you being too jealous? Idol, I have the honey of the eupatorium bees here. Let me make some honey water for you. It's delicious. Yun Chujo saw that Di Baiming's expression had eased up a lot. She said sneakily, "Idol, it's useless for you to keep those portraits. Just give them back to me. I can even relieve the pain of lovesickness. Don't even think about it. In the future, I'll confiscate every single one of them if I find them. Do you still have any more?" Di Baiming stared at Yun Chujo. "No more, I don't have any more." Di Baiming saw that Yun Chujo did not look like she was lying, so he snorted coldly and let her go. Yun Chujo was proud in her heart. "Humph. I don't have any, I still have a stack. Gigolo, you want to fight with me? You're still too inexperienced." From this day onwards, Shue Wuji crawled out of bed and reported to Yun Chujo in the courtyard. Once Di Baiming expressed his intention to chase him away, he would say that Di Baiming was not confident and that Di Baiming had been goaded by Shue Wuji. He would pretend that he did not care at all. Hence, the moment Yun Chujo stepped out of the door, the imposing Di Baiming was on the left while the devilish and handsome Shue Wuji was on the right. Countless female disciples were envious of her. Furthermore, no one knew who spread the news, but everyone knew that Yun Chuling was not Yun Chuji's brother at all. After thinking about it, if she was not her brother, then he must want to court her. It was really infuriating to compare people. Yun Chujo, that little girl, actually had 2 outstanding men going after her, but none of us did. Seeing that his identity had been exposed, Shue Wuji became even more unbridled. If he had nothing to do, he would try to curry favor with Yun Chujo. On this day, Yun Chujo had just woken up when she heard a commotion outside. Yun Chujo curiously went out to take a look and saw that there was a huge heart-shaped red pinelia flower outside. Shue Wuji was still holding a bunch of pinelia flowers in his hand. "Little sister Jiu, in my heart, you are as beautiful as this pinelia flower." The female disciples who were watching could not stop screaming. This Yun Chuling was too romantic. How great would it be if he gave it to me? "Brother Wuji, are these pinelia flowers for me?" The corners of Yun Chuji's eyes twitched slightly. What was wrong with Shue Wuji? "Little sister Jiu, of course, these flowers are for you. This is a token of my appreciation for you," Shue Wuji said affectionately. Di Baiming, who was standing behind Yun Chujo, wished that he could turn these flowers into powder. Damn it. I have to find something to do for this Shue Wuji. Otherwise, he would be like a fly circling around the black thing all day long. It was inevitable that the black thing would be misled. Yun Chujo said with a smile, "Then thank you, Brother Wuji. Are these flowers mine now?" Shue Wuji nodded. He was very proud of himself. He looked at Di Baiming provocatively. "Humph, how could you come up with such a romantic idea? I will definitely win Yun Chuji's heart." When Di Baiming saw that Yun Chujo actually accepted these flowers, his face turned green. He did not expect Yun Chujo to be so happy and shout, "Fresh pinelia flowers, anyone wants to buy them? 5 spiritual stones for a flower, 5 spiritual stones for a flower, you can't buy it at a loss, 5 spiritual stones for a flower, you can't buy it at a loss." The pinelia flower that Yun Chuling picked personally is limited in quantity. If you want to buy it, hurry up. Chapter 466, Big Brother Will Miss You. With Yun Chuji's shout, the female disciples who adored Shue Wuji began to frantically buy the pinelia flowers. Yun Chujo regretted this. If she had known that they were so crazy, she would have asked for 10 spiritual stones for one. Di Baiming raised his eyebrows at Shue Wuji. Shue Wuji was so depressed that he wanted to vomit blood. He covered his chest with his hand and said, "Little sister Jiu, you hurt my heart too much. My heart is about to break. These pinelia flowers were picked by me in the middle of the night. Every single one of them represents my strong love for you. You changed them into ice-cold spirit stones? You really make me sad." Yun Chujo giggled. "Brother Wuji, thank you. But, you can just give me spirit stones next time. Compared to these impractical things, I still prefer shiny spirit stones. 1 piece is not too little, 10 billion is not too much, the more the better. Vulgar. Too vulgar. Little sister Jill, you have to get rid of this habit of worshipping money. As the saying goes, those who get close to the vermilion bird will be the scarlet bird, while those who get close to the ink bird will be the black bird. It is because you have stayed with D. Biming for a long time that you have lost the innocent and romantic feelings of a young girl. Let's go, I will bring you to pick wildflowers. When we come back, we will have roast meat for dinner. Xue Wuji had just been defeated, yet he was immediately revived with full health. Yun Chujiu was a little tempted. Di Biming coughed dryly. Xue Wuji, has your blood demon sect been very free recently? You've been in the Linghua sect for quite a while now. Shouldn't you go back to the blood demon sect to check on things? Xue Wuji asked with a guarded expression. Di Biming, you're not trying to keep me away from little sister Jiu, are you? Di Biming raised his eyebrows. This venerable one is only making suggestions. It's up to you whether you listen to it or not. However, this venerable one feels that if you don't go back today, I'm afraid you'll have no choice but to go back tomorrow. Xue Wuji gritted his teeth in anger. Good. Very good. Di Biming, you've made me look at you in a new light. You've learned to play dirty tricks. Humph. Anyway, I have to go back to the blood demon sect to prepare a birthday present for little sister Jiu, so I'll go back first. Little sister Jiu, in a few days, when it's your birthday, Big Brother will come and celebrate your birthday. Yun Chujiu was stunned. She did not expect Wu Ji to even know her birthday. It was only 2 months away from her 16th birthday. Time really flew by. Di Biming's face was gloomy. His original body did not even think of helping Black Thing celebrate her birthday. Xue Wuji thought of it. Why was he so concerned about Black Thing? Was it just to go against him, or did he really like Black Thing? No. He had to extinguish this flame. He could not let him appear in front of Black Thing in the future. Little sister Jiu, Big Brother will leave first. If I don't leave, this facial paralysis will really do terrible things. Big Brother will miss you. See you later. Xue Wuji said as he turned around and left, looking like a little wife who had been abandoned. After Di Biming entered the courtyard, he said unnaturally, Little Jiu, I will also give you a birthday present on your birthday. Yun Chujiu giggled. Okay, then you must give me a big present. If you don't know what to give me, then give me the 10 million upper-grade spiritual stones that the black chicken's head gave you as compensation. I will like it very much. Di Biming was still feeling a little guilty, but when he heard Yun Chujiu's words, he immediately felt guilty and glared at her. Don't even think about it. Yun Chujiu pursed her lips. This gigolo was good in every way, but he didn't give her any spirit stones. He was stingy. Chapter 467, was a waste of her quota. 2 days later, Di Biming had some matters to attend to and left the Linghua faction grounds. Yun Chujiu started to wreak havoc again. Today, she would go to the West Peak to get some food, tomorrow, she would go to the East Peak to have some fun, and the day after that, she would go to the Spirit Herb Garden to pick up a few herbs. The only thing that made dissatisfied Yun Chujiu was that the Heaven's Gate sect did not choose to use the fragment of the Great Void Mirror in exchange for the Earth Fire. Yun Chujiu could only get some of the lowest grade demon beasts from the Great Void Mirror to roast and eat. Other than that, it was useless. In the end, the Heaven's Gate sect still compensated the Linghua sect with 1/10 of the share of spirit stones. Yun Chujiu also fought for 1/100th of the share of spirit stones from Master Xianyuan. This fellow's heart was bubbling with joy. 1/100th was a sustainable income. As long as the spirit stone mine continuously produced results, she would be able to make a profit. As the great competition that happened once every 30 years in the 4 great sects approached, the entire Linghua sect began to get busy. The first thing was the quota. Only the inner and direct disciples of the 4 great sects were qualified to participate in the competition, and each sect only had 100 quotas. The Linghua sect had a total of 33 direct disciples, and the remaining 67 were chosen by the inner disciples after the competition. As Yun Chuzi and the others were new disciples, their spiritual power and actual combat experience were not comparable to those old disciples, so they were not selected. The Bai siblings and Yun Chu Shan were also not selected. The only seedling of the new disciples was Yun Chujio, the direct disciple. Some of the old inner disciples had some complaints about this. Yun Chujio was only at the 4th level of the spirit enhancement realm, so the lowest that could get a spot was at the 9th level of the spirit enhancement realm. Yun Chujio had wasted a spot for nothing. Yun Chujio did not care about the balance in other people's hearts. When she heard that she was going out to participate in the sect competition, her eyelashes immediately lit up with joy. This was great. She was going to die of boredom. It was a good time for her to go out for a stroll. If there was an opportunity, she could buy a few books and it would be even more perfect. As for the results of the competition, well, talk about it when the time comes. The plan did not change quickly. They just had to adapt to the situation. Before leaving, Master Xianyuan specially held a mobilization meeting. It was nothing more than to bring honor to the sect. The most important thought was that the results of the sect competition were related to the allocation of a portion of spirit stones, therefore, everyone had to do their best. The share of the spirit stones was divided into 10 portions, 2 portions for each sect. The remaining 2 portions were divided according to the results of the competition that took place 30 years ago. Yun Chujio suddenly understood. So it was for the spirit stones. No wonder the 4 great sects were all on steroids. She rubbed her chin and pondered. If she were to accidentally get another first place, would little Xianyuan give her another portion of the spirit stones? Yun Chujio immediately became spirited at the thought of earning spirit stones. She asked Feng Ming to find out what the competition was and what the process was like. Little Sister Jiu, the competition of the 4 great sects that is held once every 30 years is divided into 2 parts. The first round is the Wuwei Tower trial, and the second round is the pill refining, artifact refining, array formation, and talisman making competition. Oh, how are the 2 portions of spirit stones divided? This was the focus of Yun Chuji's attention. After each round of the competition, 1 portion of spirit stones will be divided according to the results. 1 portion of spirit stones will be divided into 10 portions. The first-ranked sect will get 4 portions, the second-ranked sect will get 3 portions, the third-ranked sect will get 2 portions, and the fourth-ranked sect will get 1 portion. I see. This method is quite reasonable. What is the Wuwei Tower trial about? Yun Chujio nodded and continued to ask. Chapter 468, For the sake of spirit stones, I will not force you. No one could tell the origin of the Wuwei Tower. It seemed that ever since the Qing Xian continent, the Wuwei Tower had been standing at the foot of the Wuwei Mountain. The Wuwei Tower could only be entered by cultivators of the spirit refinement stage and the spirit cultivator stage. Moreover, each person only had 1 chance to enter the tower in their lifetime. The Wuwei Tower was divided into 9 levels, and each level that passed had a corresponding amount of points and rewards. However, every time the disciples entered after opening it, the scenery and situation were different, and no one knew what they would encounter inside. It was said that the first sect master of the Linghua sect, Patriarch Linghua, passed the 8th level of the Wuwei Tower, and some of the Dharma treasures and spirit tools that made him famous later were obtained on the 8th level. However, Patriarch Linghua failed the trial on the 9th level. The 8th level was only a legend to everyone, not to mention the 9th level. Even the inner sect disciples with extremely outstanding aptitudes had only passed through the 6th level. Even the 7th level had not been entered by anyone for thousands of years. After entering the Wuwei Tower, the most magical thing about it was that those who participated in the trial would not really die inside. However, after you died, you would be ejected from the Wuwei Tower. The more Yun Chujio heard, the more excited she became. Oh my God, not only were there points, but also rewards. It must be that the higher the level of the tower, the more bountiful the rewards. At that time, no matter what, she would have to clear a few more levels. In any case, she would not die. Feng Ming saw that Yun Chujia's eyes were shining, and he could not help but remind her, "Little sister Jiu, although you won't really die inside the Wu Wei Tower, the feeling of being injured every time is the same. When the time comes, don't push yourself. I won't force myself, I won't force myself. As long as it's for the spirit stones, I won't force myself at all." She naturally spoke the truth. Feng Ming was used to Yun Chujia's money grubber character. On second thought, little sister Jiu's spirit power was the lowest. Perhaps she would be ejected at the first level, so he didn't have to worry too much. A few days later, Master Xianyuan personally led a team, and the participants of the Linghua sex competition boarded their flying spirit tools and rushed to Wuwei Mountain. Yun Chujiu was not familiar with the others, so she gathered with Feng Ming, Gang Yi, and Shi Xian. She even took out the homemade playing cards and taught them how to play. The four of them were having a great time. Some of the male disciples found it interesting, so they also gathered around and watched them play. Senior Sister Zhua, this Yun Chujiu is shameless. Not only did she hook up with young Master Di and Yun Chuling, but now even our three heroes of Linghua have been bewitched by her. The one who spoke was Qi Pianpian, a true disciple of the West Peak. That's right, this Yun Chujiu is the most shameless. She's only at the 4th level of the spirit enhancement realm, yet she still has the cheek to take a spot. She's even hooking up with 3 or 4 people every day, and the good cabbages have been stolen by this shameless pig. Another core disciple of the West Peak, Wu Yanyu, echoed from the side. I don't know if those people have bad eyes, but this Yun Chujiu is flat in front and back, her spiritual power is low, and she's also crazy. What's there to like? That Yun Chujiu is simply incomparable to our senior sister Zhua. A few female disciples surrounded Zhuo Piaoyu and pointed at Yun Chujiu. While belittling Yun Chujiu, they didn't forget to flatter Zhuo Piaoyu. Zhuo Piaoyu frowned slightly. Senior sisters, junior sister Yun is just a temperamental person. It's easy for people to misunderstand her when she does things. Besides, she's still my savior in Eupatorium Valley. Don't gossip about her in front of me in the future. Senior sister Zhua, you are just too kind. Besides, how can she be your savior? We have all heard about it. If she didn't insist on following you, perhaps you and senior brother Feng Ming wouldn't have been stung. That's right. Senior sister Zhua, you can't always think of others. You will suffer. Yun Chujiu is a thick-skinned person. She thinks you are easy to bully. Senior sister Zhua, you don't have to participate. We'll avenge you. Zhuo Piaoyu's eyes flashed with a trace of pride. These idiots would find trouble with Yun Chujiu, and even something happened, it had nothing to do with her. Yun Chujiu, just wait and see. Chapter 469, you can continue pretending, hey. Yun Chujiu, don't you have any manners? Can you lower your voice? You're the loudest person in the entire room. You're afraid that others won't know that you can seduce men? Qi Pianpian walked to Yun Chujiu's side and said in a strange tone. That's right, how did you get into the competition without knowing anything? Hurry up and cultivate, or else you'll be ejected when you reach the 1st level of the Wuwei Tower. That would be a huge loss of face. It doesn't matter if you lose face. I'm just afraid that our Linghua sect will lose face because of you. Wu Yanyu echoed from the side, however, she looked at Shi Xian with a resentful gaze. Shi Xian shivered from her gaze. Is there something wrong with junior martial sister Wu's eyes? Why are you rolling your eyes at me for no reason? Yun Chujiu was playing happily when she heard what they said. Immediately, her face darkened. This is the first warning. Don't disturb us when we're playing cards. So what if I'm talking loudly? The most important thing for us cultivators is to maintain our composure. If you can't even overcome this little interference of yours, what's the point of cultivating? Yun Chujiu, you're really good at spouting nonsense. Lower your voice immediately, or I'll report it to the elders. Qi Pianpian said fiercely. The second time. Yun Chujiu glanced at her and spat out 3 words. What first time, second time, do you still dare to hit me? Although Qi Pianpian had heard that Yun Chuzhou had beaten up Su Yan, the situation at that time was different from now. There was still the sect leader and the elders on the flying spirit tool. I don't believe that she would dare to be so arrogant. Pa! Pa! Yun Chuzhou stood up and gave Qi Pianpian 2 slaps, then kicked her away. Wu Yanyu, who was standing at the side, saw the situation and was about to move forward to attack. Yun Chuzhou sneered and directly kicked her away too. Yun Chuzhou turned around and looked at the few people surrounding Zhuo Piaoyu. She sneered and said, "If you dare to say bad things about me behind my back again, you will end up like them." Didn't the kind and sensible senior sister Zhuo say that? I'm her savior. If you don't want her to bear the reputation of being ungrateful, then shut the fuck up. These female disciples usually only played games of scheming and used words to defeat the other party. They had never met a deviant like Yun Chuzhou who would beat them up at the slightest disagreement. Therefore, they did not react in time. It was not until Qi Piaoyu and Wu Yanyu cursed Yun Chuzhou and got up from the ground that everyone reacted and also blamed Yun Chuzhou. Zhuo Piaoyu said gently, "Everyone, calm down. I believe that junior sister Yun will apologize to the 2 junior sisters." Junior sister Yun, although junior sister Qi and junior sister Wu's words are unpleasant, you should not beat them up. Hurry up and apologize to them. I will mediate and make peace. Don't make a big deal out of this. After all, we are going to participate in the sect competition. We can't already lose now from infighting. Zhuo Piaoyu's words had taken into account the relationship between the disciples of the same sect and the upcoming sect competition. She had to admit that it was very convincing. In comparison, Yun Chuzhou was making a big deal out of nothing. Moreover, beating up her fellow disciples in front of so many people was too arrogant. Zhuo Piaoyu, I've warned you not to provoke me again. Ill-treated as saving an ungrateful wretch in the Eupatorium Valley. Shut up now, and I won't argue with you. If you continue to dawdle, I won't be polite to you. Besides, don't think that your methods of inviting and buying people's hearts are so brilliant. We're not blind, so why is it that you're so perfect and have no problems at all? Obviously, you're just pretending. You've hidden all your unspeakable thoughts. Just keep pretending. Sooner or later, everyone will see whether your white lotus flower heart is truly white or black. Let's continue playing. I'll tell you the same thing. A slut is a hypocrite. In the future, all of you stay away from the white lotus flower. You might even become a beauty. Yun Chuzhou called out to Feng Ming and the others to continue playing cards. Chapter 470, pokes into the hearts of others. Yun Chuzhou's words were extremely novel. It was the first time that everyone had heard such a statement. After thinking about it carefully, they felt that what she said made some sense. That's right, everyone has their flaws. Zhuo Piaoyu was too perfect, she always had a gentle and kind face. They had never seen her say anything bad about anyone, and no one had ever said anything bad about her. Was she really that perfect? Or was it just like what Yun Chuzhou had said, that she was just pretending? Heavens, if a person could pretend for more than 10 years, then this person's thoughts were truly terrifying. Zhuo Piaoyu saw that everyone was somewhat evasive, and she was almost driven mad with anger. All these years, everything had been smooth sailing for her. From the sect leader to the miscellaneous disciples in the Linghua sect, who hadn't praised her. How come ever since she met this Yun Chuzhou, she had been repeatedly questioned? She was too hateful. When Zhuo Piaoyu saw Feng Ming and Yun Chuzhou chatting and laughing, her heart felt as if it was on fire. She walked to Yun Chuzhou's side and said, "Junior sister Yun, you might have misunderstood me. I don't have any other ill intentions. I just feel that you are being too arrogant towards your fellow disciples. Moreover, your spiritual power is low. It wasn't easy for you to get this chance to participate in the sect competition, so why are you wasting your time on playing cards?" Yun Chuzhou glanced at her. This Zhuo Piaoyu was very smart. She didn't like to speak in such a low manner, thus, she said with a smile, "Then thank you, senior sister Zhuo." Although my spiritual power is low, my luck has always been good. Maybe my results in this trial will be better than yours. Chi Pianpian said with a swollen face, Yun Chujiu, you are really shameless. How dare you compete with Senior Martial Sister Zhua? Senior Martial Sister Zhua had just broken through to the 3rd level of the Spirit Cultivator realm, and you, a 4th level Spirit Cultivator, still have better results than Senior Martial Sister Zhua. It's simply a fool's dream. Don't mention Senior Martial Sister Zhua, you can't even compare to mine. Yun Chujiu, do you dare to make a bet with Senior Martial Sister Zhua? Yun Chujiu looked at her. Bet? What bet? It depends on which one of you gets the most points in the Wuwei Tower. Whoever gets the most points wins. Do you dare to make a bet? I guess not. TSK, the difference between the 4th level of Spirit Enhancement and the 3rd level of Spirit Cultivator is like heaven and earth. Chi Pianpian deliberately used words to provoke Yun Chujiu. She was afraid that she would not agree. Yun Chujiu touched her chin. I'm more concerned about the bet. If the bet is to my liking, there's no harm in making one. Chi Piaoyu did not expect Yun Chujiu to actually agree. She looked at Zhuo Piaoyu. Senior Sister Zhua, are you going to bet with her or not? Junior Sister Yun, Junior Sister Qi is joking. The difference in our spiritual power is too big. You'd better not take part. Zhuo Piaoyu was more than willing. Yun Chujiu, you overestimate yourself. Since you dare get into a bet with me, then don't blame me. However, I still pretended to advise you, lest others say that I'm bullying others. Zhuo Piaoyu, are you tired? You actually can't wait to gamble with me in your heart, right? Tell me, what's the bet? Yun Chujiu's favorite thing to do was to poke other people's hearts. Zhuo Piaoyu was so angry that she almost fainted. This Yun Chujiu was too detestable. The one who lost willingly gave up his identity as a successor disciple. Do you dare gamble? Zhuo Piaoyu's eyes were red with anger. She didn't bother to hide it and directly stated her purpose. Feng Ming frowned. Junior Sister Zhua, this bet of yours is a little too big. It's just a joke. Forget it, Junior Sister Little Jiu, let it go. Let's continue playing cards. Actually, Feng Ming was doing this for Zhuo Piaoyu's good. He knew Yun Chujiu's true identity. What did a successor disciple mean to Yun Chujiu? But to Zhuo Piaoyu, it was very important. However, when Zhuo Piaoyu heard Feng Ming say this, she thought that Feng Ming was protecting Yun Chujiu, so she became even more resentful of Yun Chujiu. She raised her voice and said, Yun Chujiu, do you dare take up this bet? Are you afraid? Chapter 471, We'll treat you guys to hot pot. Yun Chujiu smiled. Of course I dare, but this bet isn't very attractive. How about an additional 1,000,000 low-grade spirit stones? Feng Ming hurriedly stopped Zhuo Piaoyu. Junior Sister Zhua, I'm doing this for your own good. Don't gamble anymore. Originally, Zhuo Piaoyu was still slightly hesitant. Hearing Feng Ming's words, she immediately said, all right. I promise you. If I lose, not only will I voluntarily give up my identity as a successor disciple, but I'll also lose 1,000,000 low-grade spirit stones to you. What if you lose? If I lose, then I won't be a successor disciple anymore. I'll give you the 1,000,000 low-grade spirit stones. It's a deal then. Whoever goes back on their word is a wuss. Yun Chujiu said with a smile. She was going to make another small fortune. This girl possessed this sort of mysterious confidence. Zhuo Piaoyu sneered, of course I won't go back on my word. I'm just afraid that when the time comes, someone will go back on theirs. Yun Chujiu shrugged her shoulders. Yeah, I'm just afraid that some people will go back on their word and cry too. Ah, I hope I won't be proven right. Zhuo Piaoyu glanced at Yun Chujiu with contempt and turned around to leave. What a joke. Would she lose? She was at the 3rd level of the Spirit Cultivator realm, and Yun Chujiu was only at the 4th level of the Spirit Enhancement realm. She would definitely win. Everyone also felt that Yun Chujo was definitely going to lose. It was pretty much a done deal. Was there even a need for comparison between the fourth level of the Spirit Enhancement Realm and the third level of the Spirit Cultivator Realm? Only a few people were somewhat uncertain. Chi Pianpian was at the ninth level of the Spirit Enhancement Realm, and Wu Yanyu was at the first level of the Spirit Cultivator Realm. Although Yun Chujia's attack was relatively sudden, the two of them were actually sent flying by a kick. There must be something fishy going on. Chi Pianpian saw Zhuo Piaoyu leave and said to Yun Chujiu relentlessly, "Yun Chujiu, you hit us. Are you going to just shrug it off? You can go and file a complaint. I'm waiting to be punished. Go. Don't hesitate. Don't think about Su Yan. Your luck will definitely be better than hers. Go quickly. Don't interrupt my card game anymore." Yun Chujiu waved her small claws and said indifferently. Wu Yanyu pulled Chi Pianpian to the side. "Pianpian, Su Yan went to the law enforcement agency to file a complaint about Yun Chujiu, but she didn't get anything fruitful out of it. She was even reprimanded by Elder Shao. Let's not do that." Chi Pianpian covered her face and said resentfully, "Then we were beaten by her for nothing? Humph. Shall definitely lose this bet. When she's no longer a true disciple, we will find a chance to teach her a lesson. Besides, there'll be plenty of time in the future. There will always be a chance," Wu Yanyu said insidiously. Hearing Wu Yanyu's words, Chi Pianpian had no choice but to give up on the idea of complaining. The other female disciples who were gossiping did not dare to speak loudly when they saw how valiant Yun Chujiu was. They only continued talking in low voices. Yun Chujiu could not be bothered with them. She was having a great time. Looking at the spirit stones she won, her mood was extremely good. She thought to herself that it was better to go out and train, and she really hoped that the sect would hold more such events in the future. It would be more lively with more people, and she could even earn money. Yun Chujiu won the spirit stones and generously treated Feng Ming and the other two to hot pot. It was the first time that the three of them had eaten a pill furnace hot pot. They all praised that it was really delicious. "Junior sister Little Jiu, why do you have so many pill furnaces? Are they all for hot pot?" Feng Ming asked curiously. "Yes, I often treat my fourth brother and the others to pill furnace hot pots. There aren't enough of these. In fact, the pill furnaces were all from the Heaven and Earth Universal Furnace, which had temporarily been requisitioned by Yun Chujiu." Chapter 472, How Can One Be So Thick-Skinned? They talked and laughed along the way. The next morning, the people of the Spirit Radiance sect arrived at the foot of the Wuwei Mountain. Other than the towering mountain peak, the most eye-catching thing there was a 9-story black tower, that was probably the Wuwei Tower. There was a huge stone wall outside Wuwei Tower, and at the top of the wall were the names and points of the top 10 people in the past 10,000 years. The first person to rank was Yuan Linghua, who was also Patriarch Linghua. The bottom of the stone wall was empty. Once one enters, the names of all the people who entered the Wuwei Tower would appear. As the points changed, the rankings would constantly change until there was no one to mention. Due to the importance of the matter, the leaders of the 4 great sects personally led the team, and the foot of the Wuwei Mountain immediately became lively. The 4 leaders first assessed the strength of their opponents. Master Xianyuan frowned. Although the spiritual power of a true disciple was comparable to that of the other 3 sects, the spiritual power of an inner disciple was slightly weaker than that of the other sections. This was related to the Spirit Radiance sect's concept of cultivation. The Spirit Radiance mantra emphasized on building foundations, so it did not go hand in hand with rapid advancement. Du Gai had put in a lot of effort this time. As long as he could get first place in these 2 rounds of tests, he would be able to get a lot of spirit stones. Then, the small amount of spirit stones that he had to compensate Spirit Radiance sect was nothing. Therefore, the Heavenly Gates sect had prepared a lot of pills for the disciples participating in the competition so that they could obtain better results. Du Gai saw Yun Chujiu at a glance. Before he could react, Yun Chujo jumped over and greeted him with a smile. Sect leader Du Gai. Long time no see. Although Du Gai wanted to slap her to death, his reputation had to be protected. He said coldly, "Little girl, you have the lowest spiritual power among the disciples participating in this trial. I hope you can reach the 2nd level." The 2nd level? I was preparing to pass the 9th level. Yun Chujo straightened her little body and said arrogantly. "Little girl, you have ambition. Patriarch Linghua only passed the 8th level. If you can pass the 9th level, the first name on it will be you." Du Gai was so angry that he was amused. He pointed at the top of the stone wall. "Thank you for your praise, Master Du Gai. If I pass the 9th level, shouldn't you give me a reward?" Yun Chujo did not seem to realize that Du Gai was being sarcastic. Du Gai never thought that Yun Chujo would be so thick-skinned. She actually asked for a reward from him. "You fucking cheated me of so many spirit stones a few days ago, and now you still have the nerve to pretend that nothing happened and ask for a reward from me. How shameless." Master Xianyuan immediately said, "Master Du, Yun Chujo has a temperamental personality. Don't bother with her. If she really passes the 9th level, wouldn't you be wasting your money? After all, Heavenly Gates sect has been in a difficult situation recently." Du Gai was so angry that he gritted his teeth. "If I don't agree, doesn't it mean that I admit that our Heavenly Gates sect lacks spirit stones? What's the harm in agreeing to this? In any case, it's impossible for her to pass the 9th level. Little girl, if you can really pass the 9th level, it'll reward you with a middle-grade spirit weapon. I'm afraid that you fail on the 1st level." "That might be the case. It depends on how lucky I am. Maybe I can climb all the way to the 9th level." "So, Fairy Yume, Taoist priest Jinny, don't you two have to show your appreciation as well?" Yun Chujo looked at Fairy Yume and Taoist priest Jinny with a smile. The two of them were gloating at Du Gai's misfortune. Who would have thought that this little girl was so greedy? Also, she was really thick-skinned. Chapter 473, Yun Chujo with 0 points. Fairy Yume and Taoist Jinny had no choice but to agree that as long as Yun Chujo could pass the 9th level, they would also reward her with a mid-grade spirit weapon. However, their thoughts were the same as Du Gai's. This little girl was just too straightforward, and it was impossible for her to pass the 9th level. With her spiritual power level, she would be lucky if she could pass the 3rd level. Su Yenran looked coldly at the smiling Yun Chujo from afar. A 4th level spirit-enhanced cultivator actually dares to participate in the sect competition. She really overestimated herself. Yun Chujo, you'll definitely become the laughingstock this time. And I, Su Yenran, will amaze the entire Qingxian continent. The disciples who participated in the Wuwei Tower trial will receive a jade token. After injecting their spiritual sense into it, their points will be displayed on the stone wall in real time. When it was time, the gate of the Wuwei Tower finally opened. The disciples who participated in the competition swarmed in like a swarm of bees. Only Yun Chujo was wandering leisurely at the back. Seriously, what's the rush? It's not like they will not be able to snatch the items if they entered too late. Everyone will encounter a different scenario, alright? It's an individual fight, so what's the rush, idiots? Yun Chujo was still in the mood to wave her hands at Du Gai and the others. Sect leaders, I'm going in. Prepare your spirit tools, it'll definitely pass the 9th level. Du Gai snorted coldly. The 9th level, dream on. I bet you won't even pass the 3rd level. Yun Chujo walked into the Wuwei Tower as she calculated in her heart. The last time I entered the Great Void Mystic Realm, I was ejected out. I don't know if I'll be able to do it again this time. Fortunately, Yun Chujo successfully entered the Wuwei Tower and was not ejected. Yun Chujo could not help but tease Furry. Furry, look at the weapon spirit of the Wuwei Tower. It's much smarter than you. It did not eject me. Furry said fawningly, Master, I was blind. How would I know that you're so powerful? If I knew that you were so powerful, I would have helped you take care of that fair scum. What kind of place am I being teleported to? Why is there nothing here? Yun Chujio realized that the place she was in seemed to be an empty house. Other than the pitch-black walls around her, there was nothing else. Master, perhaps a demonic beast will appear later or something. Furry said with some uncertainty. Yun Chujio was initially on guard. Later, she simply asked the rolling pin to be on guard. She then took out a recliner and lay down on it to catch up on her sleep. She actually fell asleep. At that time, the stone wall outside had already begun to show everyone's points. No one had expected that Su Yenran of the Heavenly Gates sect would be ranked first in the points rankings. When everyone asked around, they found out that Su Yenran was actually a new disciple of the Heavenly Gates sect. Moreover, she had already broken through to the first layer of the Spirit Cultivator realm half a month ago. What a monstrous speed of advancement! A well-deserved genius. Other than Su Yenran, there was another person who had also become the focus of everyone's attention. It still depended on how the other rankings fluctuated. There was only one person whose ranking remained unchanged. The name of the 400th place had been firmly occupied by Yun Chujio. 0 points. It stayed at 0 points. Du Gai did not want to laugh at first. After all, he had lost his status as the sect leader of a sect. However, Du Gai really hated Yun Chujio too much, hence, he said with a smile, Master Xianyuan, this Yun Chujio of Spirit Radiance sect's results are really stable. It seems that I can't give away my spirit weapon. Master Xianyuan smiled faintly. Master Du Gai, as long as Yun Chujio is not ejected from the Wuwei Tower, anything can happen. A 0 now does not mean that she will get a 0 in the future. The trial has just begun, so why are you so anxious? Du Gai sneered. Then let's wait and see. Chapter 474, I will torture you to death. As time passed, the ranking on the stone wall kept changing. The only thing that remained unchanged was that Yun Chujio still had 0 points and firmly occupied the last position. However, what was puzzling was that disciples were being eliminated, but Yun Chujio had not been ejected yet. Du Gai roughly estimated the points that were displayed. The Heavenly Gates sect had a slight lead, and the first place was firmly occupied by Su Yenran. He was very proud in his heart. Sect leader Du Gai, is Su Yenran your disciple? She's only at the first level of the Spirit Cultivator realm, right? I didn't expect her to surpass so many disciples at the 6th or 7th level of the Spirit Cultivator realm. Her performance is really amazing, Fairy Yume said in surprise. Generally, disciples above the 8th level of the Spirit Cultivator realm would choose to cultivate in seclusion and strive for the Spirit Emperor realm. Therefore, the highest level in this trial was the 7th level of the Spirit Cultivator realm. Du Gai laughed loudly. Then, he said with some pride, this child's mind is more open. Perhaps her luck is also better, so she's lucky enough to be ranked first. In terms of stability, it's still the Spirit Radiance sect's Yun Chujio who is more stable. This result is really too consistent. This is the first time I've seen a disciple who scored 0 points in the Wuwei Tower trial. Master Xianyuan smiled faintly. Don't make a conclusion too early. Perhaps Yun Chujio will be able to make it to the 9th level after taking advantage of the situation. Du Gai pursed his lips and did not say anything. He thought to himself that he would humiliate Master Xianyuan when the final result was out. Ever since this old fogey obtained the earth fire, he has been extremely proud. At that moment, Yun Chujio was knocking the tower with the rolling pin. It's really strange. It's already been a day, but why isn't there anything? Not a single demonic beast has appeared. Yun Chujio did that for a long time but did not find anything. She sat on the ground dejectedly. Little Flame, Furry, what do you think is going on? Why do I feel that something isn't right? I've never heard of a disciple encountering such a situation. The rolling pin and Furry were also puzzled. Finally, Furry said, Master, could it be that the weapon spirit of the Wuwei Tower is more sinister and wants to trap you here, then wait for everyone else to finish the competition before ejecting you? Doing this would be much worse than me. Yun Chujo blinked her eyes and said, Furry, what you said makes sense. This damned Wuwei Tower must be doing that. When everyone is done and it ejects me, it'll get 0 fucking points. Wouldn't that simply make people laugh their heads off? Moreover, I've also made a bet with Shuo Piaoyu, that white lotus flower. If I lose, 1 million spirit stones will be gone. But Master, if it really intends to do that, there's no way for us to get out. You've seen it just now. There's no gaps in this building. There's no way for us to get out. Yun Chujo was not discouraged at all. I don't believe there's no way out. You too, check carefully for even the slightest difference. I don't believe there's really no flaw in this room. Yun Chujo carried the rolling pin and the ball of wool for more than 2 hours, but she still could not find a single flaw. Yun Chujo rubbed her chin and thought for a while, then, she used her spiritual sense to speak to the strange grass in her dantian. Aren't you able to attract demonic beasts? Draw a few of them over for me. I want to see if this place is connected to other places. Even if it doesn't want to communicate, I want to torture it to death. I want to see if this damned Wuwei Tower weapon spirit still will not let me go. Yun Chujo said. Chapter 475, Were the demonic beasts trying to commit suicide? The leaves of the strange grass in Yun Chuji's dantian were like human fingers. They made waving and hooking motions. The disciples who challenged the stage were all dumbfounded. What was going on? They were originally fighting with the demonic beasts, but the demonic beasts seemed to have gone crazy. Some jumped into the river, some crashed into trees, and some even crashed into rocks. What kind of stimulation did these demonic beasts receive? Did they not want to live anymore? All of them wanted to commit suicide. These disciples had all suffered. When the demonic beasts realized that they could not get out no matter what they did, they began to vent their anger on the disciples of the trial. The demonic beasts seemed to have been injected with stimulants. Their combat strength soared, and they began to crazily attack the disciples of the trial. Thus, Master Xianyuan and the others found that the disciples were bouncing out one after another, as if the tower was spewing out dumplings. Yun Chujo, who was inside Wuwei Tower, did not know about the tragedy that she had caused. She was still muttering, "This is really strange. There's no movement at all. Could it be that this place is really isolated?" Yun Chujo suddenly jumped up and placed her hands on her waist as she began to curse, "Fuck. I've tolerated you for an entire day. If you don't let me out now, I'll start saying nasty things. Let me tell you, I even made the tribulation thunder cry. If you're not convinced, then let's try it. I'll give you an hour to think about it. When the time is up, and if you still don't let me out, don't blame me for scolding you." Time passed bit by bit. An hour passed. Yun Chujo was about to scold it with her arms akimbo when a white light flashed in front of her eyes and the scene changed. Yun Chujo was in a valley. The grass was green and the spring water was flowing. It was as beautiful as a picture. An emotionless voice suddenly sounded, "The first level of the Wuwei Tower trial has been opened. Trial taker Yun Chujo." Yun Chujo pouted. "Why didn't you just let me out earlier? Seriously. Strange grass, you can stop now. Although you may have hooked for nothing, you are very obedient and performed well. If I can get high-level herbs later, I will feed them to you." As soon as Yun Chujo finished her sentence, 2 Tier 4 earth-shattering bears rushed out from the distance and pounced toward Yun Chujo with bared fangs and claws. Yun Chujo thought to herself that the others must have reached level 4 or level 5 by now. She had to finish them quickly. Hence, she raised her hand and shot 2 purple lightning bolts at the 2 earth-shattering bears. The 2 earth-shattering bears did not expect that there would be such a perverted fellow participating in the trial. They were directly struck by the 2 lightning bolts and ended up choking on their farts. Yun Chuzhou originally wanted to put away the two bear corpses, but she did not expect the two corpses to disappear into thin air. Yun Chuzhou felt that the scene before her eyes was familiar. Was this not similar to the second round of the entrance test of the Spirit Radiance sect? There must be an array formation here. If there was an array formation, then there must be an array core. If there was an array core, then there must be spirit stones. If she could find the array core, then would she not be able to make a small fortune? This Wuwei Tower had been there for so many years, so there might be high-grade spirit stones in the array core. At that moment, she felt a tinge of regret. If she had known this would happen, she would have looked for Old Man Chu to learn about array formations. She was really confident. She decided to learn and do it on the spot. Although she had never learned about array formations before, she had basically read all the books in the library. Thus, she began to recall all the array formation books she read before. She did not expect to know how to set up an array formation, as long as she could find the array core. While Yun Chuzhou was learning array formations, there was an earth-shattering bear that jumped out casually. Before she could learn the array formations, she heard an emotionless voice suddenly ring out. The first level of the Wuwei Tower trial has been passed. Trial taker Yun Chuzhou will be rewarded with a bottle of spirit gathering pills. 100 points. Chapter 476. Yun Chuzhou's points had turned negative at that moment. There was a huge commotion outside the Wuwei Tower. Oh my god. Look. The 6th level is lit up. Someone has reached the 6th level. It has only been a day, and someone has already reached the 6th level. This talent is too heaven-defying. Who is this? Silly. Look at the ranking. That Su Yanren's points has already reached more than 3,000 points, 1,000 points more than the person in second place. It must be her. I heard that Su Yanran is only at the 1st level of the Spirit Cultivator realm, but she's actually more powerful than those at the 7th level of the Spirit Cultivator realm. This is too unbelievable. This Wuwei Tower trial is first based on strength, and second on luck. Maybe she's lucky. Forget it. No matter how lucky she is, she still has to have strength. I think Su Yanran must either be very experienced in actual combat, or very smart. Du Gai was feeling very pleased with himself. He had not taken in the wrong disciple. He had really lived up to his expectations. This Wuwei Tower trial is definitely the best in our Heavenly Gates sect. At that moment, another disciple shouted, "Look! Yun Chuzhou finally scored. It's finally not 0. TSK, it's only 100 points. She must have just passed the 1st level. What's the big deal? That's right, she can only reach the 3rd level at most. She'll be ejected in a moment." Du Gai said to Master Xianyuan with a fake smile, "Master Xianyuan, our two sects can be said to share the same joy. Su Yanran has reached the 6th level, and Yun Chuzhou has finally scored." Master Xianyuan saw that the Heavenly Gate sect's points had soared along with Su Yanran's outstanding performance, and the Spirit Radiance sect's points were obviously lower than the other 3 sections. He was very anxious but still looked indifferent. Same joy, same joy. Du Gai pursed his lips. Just hold on. Let's see if Spirit Radiance sect will be ranked last this time. Let's see if you still like it. Right at that moment, someone suddenly cried out even louder, "Oh my god! What's going on? Why did Yun Chuzhou's points become minus 100 points? What the hell?" Everyone thought that they had heard wrong. Then, they looked at the stone wall. Sure enough, the 100 points behind Yun Chuzhou's name had turned red, which meant that her score was negative. How is this possible? I've never heard of someone getting a negative score. Yeah, the person who failed the trial would just be ejected. Why would there be a negative score? Ha! That Yun Chuzhou must be too stupid. The Wuwei Tower can't stand it, so it gave her a negative score. What you said makes sense. It's possible that the Wu-Wei Tower has never seen someone with such low spiritual power take part in a trial, so they gave her a negative point in a fit of anger. Maybe the Wu-Wei Tower has an underground level, and Yun Chujiu was thrown into the basement. Ha! The Spirit Radiance sect is really pathetic. They brought such a piece of trash here, and not only did they not, it even got deducted points because of her. This is really hilarious. Some of the disciples of Spirit Radiance sect had already been ejected from the Wu-Wei Tower. Now that they heard the discussions of the disciples of the other three sects, they simply hated Yun Chujiu to death. No one expects you to earn many points, but you should not make a negative point either. It's really embarrassing. You still dare to make a bet with Shuo Piaoyu? Shuo Piaoyu's points have already reached more than 1,500. She should have already broken through to the 5th level. You're definitely going to lose. Although Du Gai tried his best to endure, he still laughed out loud. Master Xianyuan, this Yun Chujiu from Spirit Radiance sect is really a clown. Negative points, haha. It's actually negative. Ha ha ha. Chapter 477, Treasure Hunting Expert, Master Xianyuan, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I've lost my composure. This Yun Chujiu is really too mischievous. She actually got a negative score. Du Gai laughed so hard that the wrinkles on his head appeared. One could see how pleased he was in his heart. Although Fairy Yumei and Daoist Jinny did not agree with Du Gai, a faint smile appeared on their faces. It was obvious that they were in a good mood. With Yun Chujiu's help, they could easily surpass Spirit Radiance sect's results. Even though Master Xianyuan tried his best to remain calm, this kind of situation was too unbelievable. For tens of thousands of years, he had never heard of anyone who could charge in and get a negative score. Little ancestor, just what kind of wicked thing did you do? At that moment, Yun Chujiu was also dumbfounded. After the sound of the first level being passed, a stone platform appeared in front of Yun Chujiu. On top of it was a bottle of medicinal pills. Yun Chujiu picked it up and sniffed it. It was indeed spirit-gathering pills, but this fellow did not eat it. Firstly, it was useless for her to eat it. The strange grass in her dantian had a refined appetite and she no longer eats low-level medicinal pills. Secondly, this thing might have existed for tens of thousands of years. She would definitely have diarrhea after eating it. Yun Chujiu was still complaining when a white light flashed in front of her eyes. The scene changed again, this time it was a boundless grassland. Yun Chujiu was looking around when 3 Tier 5 Gale wolves pounced on her. She was still using lightning to strike the wolves while trying to find the core of the array. This girl was really smart. Just by memorizing a few array books in her mind, she had already figured out the trick. To put it bluntly, the array was just a numerical deduction. For someone like Yun Chujiu who had abnormal mental calculation ability, it was simply a piece of cake. Finally, after a series of calculations and a few failed attempts, Yun Chujiu finally succeeded in finding the core of the array. She took the big kitchen knife and started digging. As she was digging, she said, "This big kitchen knife is a really good tool with many uses. It can be used to cut firewood, cut beehives, and now it can be used to dig soil. It's such a treasure for traveling. The most important thing is that I haven't spent any money. It's something that the big kitchen wanted to throw away." After digging more than 3 feet deep, they finally found a 3-foot diameter array plate. In the middle of the array plate, there were 10 shiny stones. Oh my, what kind of spirit stone is this? It looks even more high-grade than a high-grade spirit stone. Yun Chujiu reached out her evil claws and dug out a piece to examine it carefully. "Master, this is a supreme-grade spirit stone. I've seen it at Little Wawa's place before," the rolling pin said excitedly. Supreme-grade spirit stone. It sounds awesome. It must be even more valuable than a high-grade spirit stone. I'm rich. I'm rich. I won't leave a single piece for this damn Wu-Wei Tower. I'll pack it up and take it with me. If I wasn't afraid of any danger, I would have even dug out the formation plate for it. Today is a good day. I can do whatever I want. Yun Chujo hummed a song as she dug out the supreme grade spirit stone. She was in a great mood. Ha ha ha. I'm practically a treasure hunter. Who else can find spirit stones during a trial? Yun Chujo held the spirit stones in her hand. No matter how she looked at it, she liked it a lot. One high-grade spirit stone is equivalent to 10,000 low-grade spirit stones. This supreme-grade spirit stone is estimated to be equivalent to 1 million low-grade spirit stones. This is 10 million. Ha ha ha, I'm rich. Perhaps the higher the level, the more spirit stones there will be. Just as Yun Chujo was bubbling with beauty, she heard the emotionless voice say with a slight twist, second level of the Wuwei Tower trial, passed. Trial taker, Yun Chujo, destroyed Wuwei Tower's facilities. The reward will be cancelled. Points previously collected were negative 200. New accumulated points is negative 100. Chapter 478, Little Black woke up. Yun Chujo was dumbfounded. What was that? Negative 200 points. She had just passed the first level and obtained 100 points. Now it was negative 100 points. Fuck. Wouldn't the people outside, especially that old bastard Du Gai, be laughing their heads off? Just as Yun Chujo was feeling absolutely dumbfounded, a white light flashed and the scene before her eyes changed again. This time, they were in a vast desert. The sun was shining on their heads, and the ground was filled with hot sand. Before Yun Chujo could react, a group of desert scorpions pounced on Yun Chujo aggressively. Damn it! This is definitely Wuwei Tower's weapon spirit taking revenge on me. This is only the third level. Do you have to send a group of demonic beasts to kill me? Damn! There are more than 100 of them. Yun Chujo cursed as she waved her lightning to strike at the scorpions in front of her. Rolling pin, turn into a chopping board. Let's kill them while flying in the air. Yun Chujo said fiercely. After the rolling pin turned into a chopping board, it sadly realized that it could not fly. Master, it's probably forbidden to fly here. I can't take off. Fuck. This damn Wuwei Tower is determined to kill me. Fortunately, I have a lot of defensive spiritual weapons, but I can't bear to waste them like this. When I go back this time, I'll definitely refine some awesome poisons. By then, I'll be able to poison my enemies with just a handful of them. The rolling pin was about to cry. They were in such a conundrum, and yet she wanted to talk about what they had and did not have. Thinking about the skills they had to deal with the issue at hand would be much more productive. Damn it! I'll be exhausted by the time I've killed all these scorpions. I won't be able to pass the next stage. I have to think of another way. Yun Chujo was trying to figure out a way as she hacked at them. Just when Yun Chujo was frowning, a proud voice said, Master, leave these bugs to me. Watch how I deal with them. Little Black. You're awake. Yun Chujo quickly released the little black bird from the spirit beast pouch. Not only was the little black bird bigger than before, but its feathers were also darker and brighter. The most peculiar thing was that there was a bulge on its head. It looked strange. I will burn you all to death. How dare you bully my master? Look at this fireball. Little Black opened its mouth, and a fireball the size of a washbasin flew toward the group of scorpions. For some reason, when these scorpions saw Little Black, they looked as if they were imprisoned by someone. They were actually stunned on the spot, and only when the fireball hit their bodies did they scatter and flee in panic. Since it was forbidden to fly in there, Little Black flapped its wings and jumped on the ground a few times. Damn it! If I could fly, I would have killed all of you. Little Black. Well done. Why didn't those scorpions dare to move when they saw you? Yun Chujo asked curiously. Humph. Those bugs are instinctively afraid of me. In the past, I was too weak, so they were not afraid of me. Now that I've leveled up, they are naturally afraid of me. Little Black widened its bean-like eyes, showing off. Little Black, what level are you at now? You really are my spiritual pet. I can't tell from your appearance that you have real spiritual power. Yun Chujo asked with a smile. Level 6, Master. How is that? Am I very powerful? After a nap, I directly rose to the early stage of level 6, which is equivalent to the 4th level of the human spirit cultivator realm. Yun Chujo nodded. It seemed that the speed of spiritual pet's cultivation was directly related to its master's cultivation. Although she was now at the 2nd level of spirit cultivator, her spiritual power was about the same as a 4th level of spirit cultivator, so Little Black directly rose to level 6. It was truly a situation where when one benefits, so does everyone, and vice versa. By the way, Little Black, why is there a bump on your head? What did you bump into? Yun Chujo asked curiously. Chapter 479, Even the formation disc was taken away. Little Black heard Yun Chujo's words and said proudly, this isn't an injury bump. It's for feathers. The more feathers there are, the more powerful I am. Yun Chujo curiously touched it with her hand. It was just a big bump. Little Black, are you embarrassed to admit that you bumped into something? Ha ha ha. No matter how stupid you are, I will not despise you. Little Black was so angry that its hair stood on end. Master. You're too much. I just woke up, and you're already making me angry, you heartless master. Enough. Yun Chujo was amused. Now that you're up, I will have a lot more fun. Ha ha ha. Let's go. I'll take you to dig for some spirit stones. The damned Wuwei Tower actually dares to trick me. I will even take the array plate this time. The rolling pin weakly reminded, Master, if you take more spirit stones, the Wuwei Tower will give you negative points. Then, won't spirit radiance sex results be dragged down because of you? Yun Chujo laughed coldly. I have already considered that. The higher the level of the Wuwei Tower, the more points it should grant. I will just let it deduct as it pleases. The points for clearing the 9th level will definitely be very, very high. When that time comes, even if points were deducted, there would still be a lot left over. Moreover, I've already thought it through. Even if Spirit Radiance sex results are at the bottom because of me, there would still be another round of trial, right? During the alchemy competition, I'll go up and easily get first place. The rolling pin and Little Black nodded. These three fellows were all equally mystifying in their confidence. They had never considered what would happen if Yun Chujo could not reach the 9th level. What if Yun Chujo could not get first place in the alchemy trial? Besides, there were a total of 4 competitions. Even if you got first place in alchemy, how could you guarantee that your overall result would be first? The three of them began to search for the formation's core. Although the desert scorpions were constantly urged by the weapon spirit, and although they were formation beasts created by the formation, they would still have a natural fear of Little Black, hence, they did not dare to approach Little Black. Yun Chujo found the formation's core as she wished. Not only did she dig out all the spirit stones, she even took out the formation disc and put it into her storage ring. The emotionless voice sounded like it was gnashing its teeth. 3rd level of the Wuwei Tower trial, passed. Participant, Yun Chujo, if you destroy the Wuwei Tower's facilities, the reward will be cancelled. Your points will be negative 400 and your accumulated points will be negative 500. At that moment, outside the Wuwei Tower, a disciple quickly noticed that Yun Chujia's points had changed. Oh my god! Yun Chujia's points have changed again. It has actually become negative 500. This Yun Chujo is really a weirdo. She's now ranked last. Fuck. What's wrong with Yun Chujo? Why are her points decreasing? Could it be that others are going up, but she is going underground? I've never heard that there is a basement under the Wuwei Tower. How strange that she hasn't been ejected yet. What's going on? Anyway, it's not a good thing. Can't you see that the people from the Spirit Radiance sect are about to faint from anger? This is simply bringing a disaster. Not only is it not helpful, it's even counterproductive. The Spirit Radiance sect actually has such a disciple. They're bound to be unlucky for over 8 lifetimes. Ha! Master Xianyuan was also feeling a little apprehensive in his heart. Little ancestor, what kind of heinous thing are you doing? You're not tricking someone, right? Our Spirit Radiance sect's results aren't good to begin with. If you do something like this again, we can only be ranked last. Chapter 480, minus 6,100 points. With Little Black as a helper, Yun Chujiu was like a tiger with wings. She let Little Black be in charge of attacking the demonic beasts. She found the array core and dug out the spiritual stones, and the demonic beasts naturally disappeared. After repeating this, she charged all the way to the 6th floor. At the moment, Yun Chujiu's points were already minus 2,900 points. More than half of the disciples had already been ejected from the Wuwei Tower. Other than Su Yanran who had already charged to the 7th floor, there was also Yun Chujiu who had received a negative point. At that moment, Su Yanran's score had already reached more than 6,000 points, 3,000 points more than the person in second place. The smile on Du Gai's face could no longer be concealed. No one had been able to enter the 7th level for thousands of years. Su Yanran really brought him honor. Ha! Ha! Master Xianyuan, the wheel of fortune has really turned. Back then, in Spirit Radiance sect, Yun Chujiu defeated Su Yanran. Who would have thought that now, Su Yanran would obtain more than 6,000 points, while Yun Chujiu actually got negative 2,900 points. That's a difference of 9,000 points. I really sympathize with you. She has brought such a big disaster. Du Gai felt that victory was within his grasp. This was arrogance. Su Yanran was able to enter the 7th level, so her aptitude is indeed not bad. However, the trial hasn't ended yet, so it's best not to draw a conclusion on Yun Chujiu too early. Even though Master Xuanyuan's heart was in a knot, they had not lost the battle yet, so his expression was still calm. Ha! That's right. We can't draw a conclusion now, and there might be even more negative points later. Fortunately, there are many people here, or else your Spirit Radiance sect's points wouldn't have enough points for her to deduct. Du Gai felt that it was really too satisfying. That smelly girl still had delusions of passing the 9th level, dream on. Disciples were constantly being ejected from the Wuwei Tower, and after a few hours, Su Yanran was also ejected after failing the 7th level. Everyone else had already been ejected from the Wuwei Tower except for Yun Chujiu. At the same time, Yun Chujiu's points had become 100 points. Du Gai immediately arranged for people to start counting the points of each sect. The results were 100,300 points for the Heavenly Gates sect, 98,000 points for the Immortal Sword sect, 92,000 points for the Bishao Palace, and 86,000 points for the Spirit Radiance sect. When the disciples of the Spirit Radiance sect counted the points, they hated Yun Chujiu to death. If they had not deducted Yun Chujiu's 6,100 points, they would have been able to surpass the Bishao Palace and obtain 3rd place. It was all because of this troublemaker, Yun Chujiu. Zhuo Piaoyu obtained 1,500 points, which was considered to be above average, so she was very proud in her heart. Yun Chujiu, I'll let you show off. You're going to lose this bet for sure. Once you lose your identity as a successor disciple, would senior brother Feng Ming still take a look at you? When that time comes, the people you've offended will start to take revenge on you. Just you wait. You're simply courting death for looking for a fight with me. Su Yanran was now a popular person. From Du Gai to the inner disciples, all of them were full of praise for her. All kinds of praises were constantly heard. Even if she did not pass the 7th level, no one had entered the 7th level of the Wuwei Tower for thousands of years. Su Yanran could definitely be considered a genius. Su Yanran was very proud in her heart. I've finally washed away the shame that Yun Chujo has brought to me. Yun Chujo, I didn't expect that not only can't you compare to me, but you've also gotten a negative score. The heavens are really fair. You have finally received your retribution. Yun Chujo, who was inside the Wuwei Tower, sneezed a few times in succession. Damn it. They must be scolding me outside. Speaking of which, this 7th level is probably very difficult. I don't know what will appear. Chapter 481, Woven Silk Pajamas. With a flash of white light, Yun Chujo entered the 7th level of the Wuwei Tower. When Yun Chujo saw the scene clearly, she could not help but laugh out loud. Oh my god, this 7th level is tailored for me. Yun Chujo was currently deep in a forest. However, she was currently hanging on a huge spider web. A huge level 8 gold-spotted poison spider was staring at her. The gold-spotted poison spider felt that the little girl in front of it was most likely scared out of her wits. Otherwise, why would she be smiling at this moment? Unless she was mentally ill. The gold-spotted poison spider wanted to eat Yun Chujo, but when it got closer, it realized that Yun Chujo was covered in layers of spiritual energy. It spat out poisonous threads and began to corrode the spiritual energy barrier. Master, stop laughing. Although this poisonous spider is also a bug, its spiritual power is higher than mine, so it is not afraid of me. Little Black said to Yun Chujo. Yun Chujo giggled. Little Black, don't worry, you don't have to do it. Master, I have a secret weapon. Ha ha ha. Furry, didn't you tell me the last time that you didn't have enough sweaters? Now we have a chance to create more. Master. Have you forgotten? These are fake. Even if I extract the silk, it will disappear. Furry pouted and flew out from between his brows. Little Black stared with his puzzized eyes, dumbfounded. What the hell is this? Master, why do you always pick up trash? Previously, he picked up a rolling pin, and now he picked up a ball of yarn. Yun Chujo heard what the ball of yarn said and coughed dryly. Ah, that's true. But, let's get rid of it first. Let's finish this quickly so I can go dig for spirit stones. There will definitely be more spirit stones in this layer. Just thinking about it makes me excited, right? The ball of yarn started to extract the silk. The gold-spotted poison spider was dumbfounded. The poisonous threads in its stomach were constantly being pulled out by the ball of yarn. These poisonous threads were sticky and poisonous. Why did nothing happen to that ball of yarn? In the past 1,000 years, no one has ever been able to get past it. Could it be that it had met its nemesis today? The ball of yarn muttered as it twined, Tisk tsk, the quality of this thread is really good. It's much better than the thread of the mountain drilling dragon. If only this were real. I could knit a set of woven silk pajamas and wear it. The gold-spotted poison spider was about to cry when it saw the ball of yarn twining more and more vigorously. I'm not a freaking formation beast, I'm a real demon beast. If all its poisonous threads were taken away, it would fucking starve to death. What an embarrassing way to go. Sob, it was going to be the first gold-spotted poison spider to starve to death. Just as the ball of yarn was vigorously extracted, Yun Chujo shouted, Furry, stop for a moment. Master, why are you stopping? I'm getting more and more excited. This gold-spotted poison spider has so many poisonous threads. It's so satisfying. The gold-spotted poison spider's tears finally flowed. It had never encountered such a situation before. It was being tortured to death. Furry, I feel that this gold-spotted poison spider in front of me seems to be a real demon beast. This beast is so expressive. In the beginning, it was disdainful, but after that, it turned into shock, and then it turned into fear and despair. It's simply too realistic, isn't it? The demon beasts we met before were all gritting their teeth. When the gold-spotted poison spider heard Yun Chujo's words, it almost burst into tears. There was a door. This little girl was its last hope. At this moment, the gold-spotted poison spider completely abandoned its dignity as a level 8 demon beast. The two antennae in front of its head kept poking at Yun Chujio. Chapter 482. I raised a white-eyed spider. Little spider, are you trying to beg for mercy? If it is, just point once. If it isn't, point twice. Yun Chujio rolled her eyes and evil thoughts appeared again. The gold-spotted poison spider used its antennae to point once. Yun Chujio continued with a smile, you are not a formation beast, are you a real demon beast? The gold-spotted poison spider used its antennae to point once again. How about this, I can spare you, but you have to tell me the location of the formation core on this level. The higher she went, the harder it was to find the formation core. It would save her a lot of trouble if she had some guidance. The gold-spotted poison spider had no choice but to agree for the sake of its little life. Yun Chujio let Furry lead the gold-spotted poison spider to find the location of the formation core. Qi Ling nearly fainted. I've raised you for over 1,000 years, and you're going to betray me just like that? The gold-spotted poison spider replied in a muffled voice, it's your fault for not coming to save me. Too bad I don't know how to speak. Otherwise, I'll tell the little girl about the formation's core on the 8th and 9th levels. I'll infuriate you to death, you heartless old woman. Qi Ling rolled her eyes. The other party raised an ingrate, but it raised a white-eyed spider. If Yun Chujio knew what the gold-spotted poison spider was thinking, she would definitely trick this stupid spider into leading the way. Unfortunately, she did not understand the language of beasts. After this fellow stored the spiritual stones and arrayed discs in his storage ring, a furious voice was heard saying, the 7th level of the Wuwei Tower trial has been passed. Trial taker Yun Chujio, the reward is cancelled. The accumulated points are minus 6,400 points. The accumulated points are minus 12,500 points. The crowd outside the Wuwei Tower was in an uproar. Oh my god, the legendary 8th level is within reach. Oh my god. Am I dreaming? Isn't it said that only Patriarch Ling Hua has entered the 8th level in the past 10,000 years? Could it be that Qing Xian continent is going to produce another peerless genius? I'm so excited. I saw the 8th level of the Wuwei Tower light up in my lifetime. After everyone was excited for a while, they realized there was a big problem. Everyone was already ejected. Who exactly had entered the 8th level? At this moment, someone shouted again, oh my god, Yun Chujio's score has become minus 12,500 points. Ha, anyway, the Linghua faction is already last. It doesn't matter how many negative points there are. Wait. Isn't Yun Chujio the only person left in the Wuwei Tower? Could it be, heavens, that Yun Chujio is the one who entered the 8th level? How is that possible? She's only at the 4th level of the Spirit Enhancement Realm. Besides, she's always had negative points. When she reached the 8th level, she should have had more than 10,000 positive points. If it's not Yun Chujio, then who is it? There's no one else. Yun Chujio must be the one on the 8th level. Then what's wrong with the points? Maybe there's something wrong with the stone wall. Yun Chujio should have more than 10,000 points. Forget it. There hasn't been a problem with the stone wall for tens of thousands of years, and it's already a problem with Yun Chujio? Su Yenran was originally full of confidence, but for some reason, she had a bad feeling in her heart. How similar was the situation in the Great Void Mystic Realm the last time? Could it be that the same thing was going to happen again? No, impossible. No matter which level she reached, the points were still the most important. Even if she reached the 9th level, the people of the Linghua sect would still hate her. It was because she had obtained a negative score that she was ranked last. Du Gaiyi had the same thoughts as Su Yenran. Anyway, the final ranking did not depend on which level she reached. Who knew what kind of tricks that wretched girl Yun Chujio had up her sleeves? Chapter 483, a moment of spring is worth 1,000 gold coins. Yun Chujo was already on the 8th level of the Wuwei Tower. Unlike the previous 7 levels, this time, Yun Chujo ended up in an empty room. The voice that was gnashing its teeth was heard again. The 8th level of the Wuwei Tower has been opened. Trial taker Yun Chujo, love, wealth, power, or Tao. Choose one. Love. Yun Chujo answered without hesitation. Qi Ling looked at her with disdain. Seems you have pillaged my Wuwei Tower enough, or else why would you choose love? Otherwise, you would definitely choose wealth. The scene in front of Yun Chujo changed. She was actually in a beautifully decorated wedding hall. Yun Chujo curled her lips. This was an illusion test. As a special agent, the most common training was how to stay awake after being hypnotized. I want to see what kind of illusion Wuwei Tower's Qi Ling will create for me. Black thing. I finally got you. Di Baiming said happily in a red bridal gown. Yun Chujo thought to herself, "Io, this pretty boy in red looks good." It was a different style from Black Chicken Head. The Black Chicken Head was evil and flamboyant, while the pretty boy was, a sultry man with a strong sense of abstinence. Why did it look like he was pouncing on her? I wonder if they will be entering the bridal chamber later. I'm looking forward to it. Yun Chujo did not resist. According to the settings of the illusion, she wore a phoenix coronet and a wedding gown and followed this Di Baiming to the altar. After sending her into the bridal chamber, Di Baiming smiled. Black thing, we are finally married. Come, let's have a toast. Seeing that Yun Chujo had no intention of waking up, Qi Ling felt very proud of himself. Little brat. As long as you drink this tea, you will fail this round. Yun Chujo did not take the wine cup that Di Baiming handed to her. Instead, she sat down on the chair, crossed her legs, and said casually, "What toast?" Pretty boy, take off your clothes. Let me see your beautiful body. Qi Ling's face turned red. She braced herself and continued the illusion. Di Baiming laughed, "Black thing, let's drink first. I'll take off my clothes after the toast." Wrong. 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 As the saying goes, every moment of the night is worth 1,000 gold. Quickly take off your clothes. If you don't take off your clothes, I'll help you. Yun Chujo jumped down from the chair and was about to strip Di Baiming. Yun Chujo smiled and said to Di Baiming, "Oh right, gigolo, I bought a lot of erotic pictures from the street. Let's learn according to the postures." Hey, where are my erotic pictures? Wuwei Tower, quickly materialize my erotic pictures. I want to refer to them. Qi Ling could not continue. This stupid girl was not fooled by the illusion at all. She was teasing me. How hateful. Now that the illusion had been broken, the 8th stage was naturally cleared. The 8th level of the Wuwei Tower has been cleared. Participant Yun Chujo, the reward has been cancelled. The accumulated points are minus 12,800 points. The accumulated points are minus 25,300 points. Yun Chujo was immediately enraged. Fuck. I did not take away your spirit stones again this time. What right do you have to cancel the reward? What right do you have to give me negative points? You old bastard. Get the hell out of here. Stop hiding in the back and pretending to be a ghost. Are you so ugly that you can't let anyone see you? Qi Ling trembled and directly opened the 9th level, the 9th level of the Wuwei Tower. Open, trial taker Yun Chujo. Chapter 484, Live long and see outside the Wuwei Tower, everyone was boiling with excitement. Oh my god, Yun Chujo has entered the 9th level. It might not be Yun Chujo. Didn't you see that her score has already become minus 25,300 points? You say it isn't Yun Chujo, but then who else could it be? Let's not argue anymore. When Yun Chujo is finally ejected, the truth will be revealed. While Yun Chujo was cursing happily, she was directly teleported to the 9th floor. Yun Chuzhou was a little confused when she saw the scene in front of her. What was the meaning of this? In front of Yun Chuzhou was a stone platform that was about 10 feet square. On the stone platform were thousands of exquisite little jade bottles. Yun Chuzhou thought to herself, could it be that the Wuwei Tower's conscience has been discovered? This was a medicinal pill to supplement her. However, what use did she have for this lousy medicinal pill? She might as well give her some spirit stones. Just as Yun Chuzhou was feeling puzzled, a slightly smug voice said, the 9th level of the Wuwei Tower's trial has been opened. Trial taker Yun Chuzhou. Each jade bottle contains a medicinal pill. Only one of the medicinal pills in the jade bottle is not poisonous. Choose one and swallow it. You can't open it to see. You can only rely on luck to choose one. Qi Ling was very pleased with herself. She held a jade bottle in her hand. Ha, little fellow, you dare to offend me. I have already taken out the only pill that isn't poisonous. No matter which pill you choose, it will be filled with poison. If you eat it, you will die, and then you will be ejected out of the tower. After hearing Qi Ling's words, Yun Chuzhou couldn't believe her ears. The 9th trial was such an unreliable test. No wonder Patriarch Ling Hua couldn't pass it. What kind of heaven-defying luck did he have to pass it? The odds were almost 1 in 1,000. However, it was too easy for me, right? Yun Chuzhou rolled her eyes and said with suspicion, you're not lying to me, right? Are all the pills here poisonous? Nonsense. Why would I take out the ones that aren't poisonous first? Hurry up and choose. Don't dilly-dally. Qi Ling said loudly while feeling a little guilty. Yun Chuzhou pursed her lips. However, it was also reasonable. She had taken out so many spirit stones from the tower, so it was understandable for Qi Ling to resort to dirty tricks. Whether you removed it out or not, you know in your heart. Before I choose, I'll ask you a few questions. The first question is, do I pick one and eat it? If nothing happens to me after I eat it, will I pass this test? That's right. As long as you eat it, you would have passed this stage. No matter which Yun Chuzhou chose, it would be filled with poison. If you ate it, you would definitely die. The second question is, if I pass this stage, what rewards and how many points will I get? Don't tell me you will still cancel the rewards and give me negative points. Qi Ling thought, You haven't even passed it yet, and you are already thinking about the rewards and points. Since it's impossible to pass anyway, I'll just tell you. Don't worry, as long as you can pass it, I will give you the rewards for this stage. There are infinite points for this round. As long as you pass it, you will end up first on the ranking board. Then what exactly is the reward for this round? If it isn't good enough, I don't want it. I'll just stay here and not get out. Anyway, since I haven't finished the test for this round, you can't bounce me out. The food in my storage ring is enough for me to live for at least 8 to 10 years. Yun Chuzhou said shamelessly. Qi Ling felt that she had seen it all after living for such a long time. Qi Ling had lived for tens of thousands of years, but this was the first time she had met such a shameless human. Yun Chuzhou had dug out her disc array, spirit stones, and even blackmailed her little spider. Now, she was still acting like a scoundrel. It was really infuriating. Chapter 485, Let me stay unconscious, what's the harm in telling you? If you pass this test, you will get a map and a jade token. As for what map it is, you don't need to know. You won't be able to pass after all. Qi Ling said disdainfully. What? That lousy reward for this test? I'm not going to attempt it then. I haven't slept well for the past 2 days, so I decided to sleep here. Yun Chuzhou actually took out a recliner and happily lay on it. She closed her eyes and was ready to fall asleep. Qi Ling was so angry that she was about to hit the wall. Oh my god, who can tell me where this disaster came from? If there was no one in the Wuwei Tower, it would be in a dormant state and would not consume any spirit stones. As long as there were people inside, the spirit stones would be continuously consumed. If this scoundrel really lay here for a year or so, wouldn't it be a huge loss? You. What do you want me to do before you start choosing? Qi Ling had no choice but to capitulate. What do you want to do? Give me all the rewards from the previous rounds. Then, pay me an extra 100 sparkling top-grade spirit stones. If you don't agree. I will set up camp here. Yun Chuzhou was fearless. No matter how powerful Qi Ling was, she still had to follow the rules. As long as Yun Chuzhou did not choose a porcelain bottle to eat the pills inside, Qi Ling would not be able to do anything to her. After Yun Chuzhou finished speaking, she did not hear any reply for a long time. She was puzzled. Could it be that she had fainted from anger? Could it be that she had died from anger? It would be terrible if she died from anger. If she had known earlier, she would have asked for a few spirit stones less. The weapon spirit that had fainted from anger. She got up and gnashed her teeth as she said, Yun Chuzhou. You are absolutely the most shameless person that I have ever seen enter the Wuwei Tower. All right. I promise you, as long as you can pass this round, I will do as you say. I will give you the rewards from the previous rounds, and then I will pay you 100 supreme grade spirit stones. Hurry up and choose a pill. What if you are lying? Swear on it. Just say that if Yun Chuzhou did not die after eating the pills, Yun Chuzhou will pass this round, and you will give Yun Chuzhou infinite points. In addition to the map and jade token for this round, you will also give Yun Chuzhou the rewards from the previous rounds, and 100 supreme grade spirit stones as a bonus. If you don't do as you are told, your soul will be shattered. Qi Ling gritted her teeth and repeated Yun Chuzhou's words. Yun Chuzhou then put away the recliner and casually picked up a jade bottle. She poured out the pill inside and swallowed it. Qi Ling was so excited that tears welled up in her eyes. She just had to wait a little longer and this shameless brat would have died. Qi Ling could finally have her thrown out. Ha ha ha. Little brat, you want to fight with me? After she went out, what awaited her was all sorts of ridicule. She had already lost 25,300 points. However, after waiting bitterly for a while, Qi Ling did not see any discomfort from Yun Chuzhou. On the contrary, she seemed even more lively. Hey, this little jade bottle of yours is quite exquisite. I want to keep it as a souvenir. Yun Chuzhou shamelessly put the little jade bottle in her storage ring, and then her eyes stared at the other little jade bottles. Do you have any strict rules? You have to eat only one pill. Can I eat a few more? Yun Chuzhou asked with a smile. Qi Ling thought that perhaps the poison pill had been left out for too long and the medicinal effect was not enough. If she ate a few more, she would definitely be poisoned to death. So, she said, no, you can eat as many pills as you want. An hour later, Qi Ling fainted on the ground again. That damn smelly girl ate all the pills on the stone platform and even packed up the little jade bottles. She should just stay unconscious for a while, waking up to this is too painful. Chapter 486, the stone platform looked pretty good too, this small jade bottle is so exquisite. If we sell the pills, will it be able to improve the consumer by several grades? It's just that there aren't many of them. Yun Chuzhou held a small jade bottle and said happily. Hey! Did you faint again? Hurry up and fulfill your promise. This lousy place is really boring. I'm going out. Seeing that the spirit didn't respond for a long time, Yun Chuzhou estimated that it was probably angered by her and fainted again. Qi Ling struggled to get up from the ground. She was very sure that she had to send this walking disaster away quickly. Otherwise, the stone platform would be taken away by her. Because this girl was holding a large kitchen knife and gesturing at the stone platform. What material is this stone platform made of? It looks round and shiny. Doesn't seem like a bad idea to chop off a piece to make a stone bed. Yun Chujo said as she took the large kitchen knife and was about to start chopping. Stop. Stop. I'll do it. Just hurry up and leave, said Chi Ling with a trembling voice while she threw a pile of things on the ground. Yun Chujo looked at the things on the ground. Other than a sheepskin scroll and a jade token, the most dazzling thing was the 100 supreme grade spirit stones. The rest were just a few bottles of pills and several middle-grade spirit tools. Are you kidding me? I heard that our patriarch Ling Hua obtained quite a few good items on the 8th level. Are you going to fucking leave me with these pieces of junk? Even though Yun Chujo said this, her hands were not idle. She kept all the items on the ground into her storage ring, afraid that Chi Ling would take them back. Your Ling Hua sect doesn't have any good items. That Yuan Ling Hua shamelessly chose all 4 items on the 8th level. There are only 4 treasures on the 8th level, and he took them away. What else should I give you? Scram. As Chi Ling thought of that brat from 10,000 years ago, she became even angrier. She directly ejected Yun Chujo out of the Wuwei Tower. Outside the Wuwei Tower, everyone's gaze was focused on it. Although Yun Chujo's points had now become negative 25,300 points, everyone was still curious. Did Yun Chujo make it to the 9th level? And why did she get so many negative points? Ah! Quickly catch me! Quickly catch me! Yun Chujo screamed as she was ejected from the 9th floor. Just as Master Xianyuan and the others were about to pick Yun Chujo up, they saw a large chopping board catch Yun Chujo and slowly land. Little Joe, are you alright? Elder Xianyuan and the others surrounded her. Yun Chujo giggled. I'm fine. Are you guys alright? Yun Chujo, because of you, our Ling Hua sect ended up in last place. What do you think? Chi Pianpian said softly from the side. The other disciples of the Ling Hua sect also looked at Yun Chujo with dissatisfaction. If it weren't for her, they would have gotten 3rd place at least. Zhuo Piaoyu looked at Yun Chujo with a cold smile. Yun Chujo, not only will you lose your identity as a successor disciple, but you will also be hated by all the disciples of the Ling Hua sect because of the negative points. You have received your retribution. Yun Chujo frowned. That shouldn't be. That damn Chi Ling said she would make her have infinite points. Yun Chujo raised her head and looked at the stone wall. Her name was indeed in last place, and her points were still negative 25,300 points. Yun Chujo immediately became angry. She picked up the large kitchen knife and ran to the front of the Wuwei Tower. She placed her hands on her waist and cursed, "You old fart. Didn't you say that after I passed the 9th stage, my points would become infinite? Were you fucking lying? Change it now. Or I'll chop you to death." Chapter 487, Isn't it awesome? Everyone looked at Yun Chujo in a daze as she stomped her feet and cursed outside the Wuwei Tower. There was only one thought in their hearts. Was this person crazy? TSK, this Yun Chujo must have lost face, so she's resorting to such desperate antics. What a weirdo. She even went to threaten the Wuwei Tower. Who does she think she is? Why would the Wuwei Tower feel threatened by her? Besides, she still has the nerve to say that she passed the 9th level. Even Patriarch Linghua couldn't pass it, how could she possibly pass it? Exactly, I saw that the 8th and 9th levels light up earlier. I think there's something wrong with the Wuwei Tower. Infinite points, this is simply. Oh my god. The points have really turned into the shape of a small tower. Everyone saw that Yun Chujia's points on the stone wall were no longer negative. Instead, they had turned into a shrunken Wuwei pagoda. Then, her ranking rose until she finally overtook Su Yanran and placed first. Furthermore, 3 words appeared in front of Patriarch Linghua on the stone wall, Yun Chujo. Yun Chujo heard everyone gasping. She turned her head and saw that her points had really put her in first place. Only then did she viciously say, "At least you know your place. Why didn't you change it earlier? Why did you have to let me scold you? You bastard." Perhaps it was an illusion, but everyone felt that the Wu Wei Tower trembled a few times, as if from anger. Su Yenran looked at the words Yun Chujiu that was firmly pressing down on her head on the stone wall, and her mind went blank. It was Yun Chujiu again. At the last moment again. Why? Why did Yun Chujiu always appear and snatch away her victories at the last minute? Yun Chujiu, you deserve to die. You shouldn't be alive. Yun Chujiu hopped in front of Master Xianyuan. Master Xianyuan, did you get quite a scare earlier? Did you think that I was holding back our Linghua sect? Are you happy now? Isn't it awesome? Our Linghua sect will be number 1. Ha ha ha. Little Jiu, you did well. Linghua sect is proud of you. Master Xianyuan felt that his old heart was indeed powerful. Even after experiencing such excitement and sorrow, it was still beating so vigorously. Yun Chujiu swept a glance at the disciples of the Linghua sect who were gossiping just now. At this moment, those people were already embarrassed beyond words. Especially Qi Piaoyu, she wished she could find a hole to hide in. Zhuo Piaoyu's face was as pale as a sheet. It was over. She had lost. Could it be that she wanted to voluntarily give up her identity as a successor disciple? Yun Chujiu did not pay attention to her. She was not afraid of settling the score, but she wanted to get her hands on those 3 spirit tools first. Sect leaders, I have passed the 9th stage. Do you want to reward me? Yun Chujiu looked at Du Gai and the other 2 with a smile. Du Gai's face had turned purple. He had fallen from paradise to the 18th level of hell. The words that he had said before felt like slaps to his own mouth. It was all because of this damn Yun Chujiu. If it weren't for her, their Heaven's Gate sect would definitely be number 1. Moreover, Su Yenran performed so well initially that she became famous. Their Heaven's Gate sect received both fame and fortune. Now all their glory had been snatched away by this wretched girl. Impossible. How could she possibly pass the 9th round? There must be something wrong with the Wu Wei Tower. You. Go and threaten the Wu Wei Tower like Yun Chujiu did, and let the Wu Wei Tower change your results to infinity. Du Gai felt that Yun Chujiu's scolding might have played a role, therefore, he pointed at a male disciple of the Heaven sect and asked him to scold the Wu Wei Tower like Yun Chujiu. Chapter 488, A Slap to Send You Flying. The male disciple of the Heaven sect braced himself and walked to the front of the Wu Wei Tower. Imitating Yun Chujiu's speech, he held his treasured sword and cursed loudly, "Wu Wei Tower, you old fart. You're shameless. Hurry up and turn my points into infinity. Do you hear me? Or I'll chop you to death." The crowd saw the Wu Wei Tower conjure up a large palm, then slapped the male disciple and sending him flying. The crowd only saw a black dot disappear into the horizon. They did not know if the male disciple would still be alive. The Wu Wei Tower's Qi Ling was furious. Fuck. It was fine if that little girl scolded it. After all, she had passed the 9th level of the trial. How dare a little piece of trash scold it? It was asking for a beating. This Heaven sect was too detestable. This Qi Ling must teach them a lesson. You want unlimited points? Qi Ling will turn all your points into a negative number. Let's see if you still want unlimited points. Idiots. This slap from the Wu Wei Tower was like a hard slap on Du Gai's face. If he had not told that disciple to scold the Wu Wei Tower, that disciple would not have been sent flying. Sect Master Dugu, why don't you scold him yourself? I reckon that your scolding will be more effective than that person's. Yun Chujiu said with a grin. Du Gai almost spat out a mouthful of blood. This smelly girl knows how to go straight for the heart. Just as he was about to say something, he heard some disciples scream. Oh my God! All the disciples of the Heaven sect have had their points turned negative. It's true. That Su Yanran originally had 6,300 points, but now she has become negative 6,300 points. What's going on? Is the Wuwei Tower having a stroke? Che! Isn't this simple? Just now, the male disciple of the Heaven sect scolded the Wuwei Tower's Qi Ling. In a fit of anger, Qi Ling turned all their points into negative points. You're right. Ha ha ha. The Heaven sect made a fool of themselves this time. They were originally in second place, but now they're in last place. Ha ha ha. Previously, the Heaven sect was still mocking Yun Chujiu. Now, they've slapped their own faces. It's so funny. The people of the Heaven sect were all dumbfounded. This day was simply too exciting. From first place to second place, and now to fourth place. They had even become a huge laughingstock. Some of the elders of the Heavenly Gate sect were somewhat dissatisfied with Du Gai. Some time ago, it was because of his mistake that they compensated the Ling Hua sect with 1/10 of their spirit stones. Because of his arbitrariness, they lost 10 million low-grade spirit stones to the Ling Hua sect. Now, because of that stupid decision he made, not only was that disciple's life in danger, but their Heaven's Gate sect had also changed from second place to fourth place. Du Gai was too incompetent as a sect master. Du Gai's vision went dark and he almost fainted. It was over. It was already bad enough that the first place had been snatched away by the Ling Hua sect. Now, it had changed from second place to fourth place. What did he mean by overreaching and throwing a stone at his own feet? This was what he meant. Du Gai wished he could find a hole to hide in. Especially when he saw Fairy Yu Mei and Dao Zhenyi's overjoyed expressions, his intestines turned green with regret. When Du Gai saw the smiling Yun Chujiu at the side, he wished he could strangle her to death. If she had not asked him for a reward, how could he have come up with such a stupid idea? So the main culprit was Yun Chujiu. Sooner or later, he would kill her. Chapter 489, From now on, I am a rich person. Yun Chujiu saw that the heavenly sect's points had turned negative, and her heart was bursting with joy. This stingy old Qi Ling was finally doing something right. Let's see how the Heaven's Gate sect will show off this time. Yun Chujiu saw Du Gai's face turn green and white and knew that she could not provoke him now. Otherwise, this old fellow would be so angry from embarrassment that he might really kill her. If she was hurt, it would not be worth it. Therefore, she looked at Fairy Yu Mei and Taoist priest Zhenyi and said with a smile, "Sect leaders, where is the agreed reward?" Fairy Yu Mei and Taoist priest Zhenyi each took out a middle-grade spirit weapon and gave it to Yun Chujiu. Yun Chujiu thanked them with a smile and praised them repeatedly for their generosity. They were indeed worthy of being the sect leaders. Du Gai's face turned green and red when he heard that. He could only grit his teeth and take out a middle-grade spirit weapon from his storage ring and threw it to Yun Chujiu. It was rare that Yun Chujiu did not provoke him and obediently thanked him. Du Gai wanted to use this as an excuse, but he had none. He was so angry that he almost vomited blood again. Fairy Yu Mei asked curiously, "Little girl, what reward did you get for passing the 8th and 9th levels of the Wuwei Tower's trial?" Yun Chujiu's small face scrunched up. "I don't want to talk about it. This damn Wuwei Tower is so stingy. It just had to say that all the treasures on the 8th level were stolen by our patriarch Ling Hua, but the 8th level did not give me anything. What about the 9th level?" Fairy Yu Mei thought to herself. This Ling Hua sect really had the origin of the sect, and this trick was inherited from the same origin. A sparkling stone appeared in Yun Chujiu's small hand. "I don't know what this thing is, but it rewarded me with 20 pieces of this thing." Heavens! Supreme Grade Spirit Stone. This is a Supreme Grade Spirit Stone. The people who were still skeptical at first saw the Supreme Grade Spirit Stone that Yun Chujiu took out and immediately dispelled their doubts. Only this Wuwei Tower would have Supreme Grade Spirit Stones that only existed 10,000 years ago. The quality of the Spirit Stone or now was much lower than before. There were no Supreme Grade Spirit Stones out of the one's mind at all. May I ask, how many low-grade spirit stones is one piece of this thing worth? Yun Chuzhou asked the sect leaders with her eyes shining brightly. 10,000 years ago, one supreme-grade spirit stone could be exchanged for 1 million low-grade spirit stones. However, the rarer the item, the more precious it is. Now, the number of supreme-grade spirit stones is extremely small. One piece should be able to be exchanged for 2 million low-grade spirit stones. Fairy Yumei thought for a moment and said. Yun Chuzhou was about to burst with joy. She was going to be rich. She had extorted 100 pieces from the Wuwei Tower's Qi Ling. Furthermore, she had dug out more than 100 pieces on her own. Oh my God, even with her brain, she could not calculate it properly. From now on, I am a rich person. Pretty boy, if you continue to give her a hard time, get lost. Du Gai's eyes flickered, and he asked with ill intentions, little girl, other than these 20 supreme-grade spirit stones, you didn't get anything else? Why would the Wuwei Tower only reward these few things? Yes, there are several other things besides these 20 supreme-grade spirit stones. Yun Chuzhou took out the few things that the Wuwei Tower's Qi Ling had compensated her with. Just these? That's impossible, right? There isn't anything of a higher grade here. Du Gai didn't believe it. Sect leader Du Gai, if you really don't believe it, why don't you go ask the Wuwei Tower's Qi Ling? Maybe when the Wuwei Tower's Qi Ling is happy, it will turn your heavenly sex points into a positive number. Yun Chuzhou said with a smile. Du Gai's old face flushed red. Damn girl, she was despicable. Chapter 490, The White Lotus Flower Needs Refinement. Even though Master Xianyuan was very happy that the Linghua sect had obtained the first place, he was not as ostentatious as Du Gai, nor did he taunt him. A tree that stands out in the forest will be destroyed by the wind. The dim Yun Chuzhou had already managed to pass the 9th level of the Wuwei Tower. For now, he wanted to avoid being targeted by others. However, even though Master Xianyuan thought if he wanted to keep a low profile, he could not. In tens of thousands of years, only Yun Chuzhou had passed the 9th level of the Wuwei Tower. After this incident, Yun Chuzhou's name spread throughout the entire Qing Xian continent. Although Su Yanran was also very outstanding, compared to Yun Chuzhou's radiance, she appeared dull. However, because Yun Chuzhou looked to be only at the 4th level of the spirit enhancement realm, everyone viewed her passing the 9th level of the Wuwei Tower as down to pure luck. As they considered that the disciples needed to replenish their spirit energy and adjust their mental states, the second round of the competition was scheduled to be held 2 days later. Yun Chuzhou felt that she was too conspicuous, so she didn't sign up to participate in any of the competitions. Yun Chuzhou became famous after just one event. Although everyone still felt that she had just gotten lucky enough to pass the 9th level of the Wuwei Tower, that luck could also be considered a part of her strength. After all, Yun Chuzhou had helped the Linghua sect to turn the tables and obtain victory twice. Therefore, many disciples of the Linghua sect began to be friendly to Yun Chuzhou, and they all called her junior sister Little Jiu. Yun Chuzhou was unperturbed. She had said long ago that they would only be jealous when she was just a little stronger than them. Now that she had reached a level that they did not even dare to think of, they naturally became respectful towards her. Shuo Piaoyu wished that she could turn invisible. She was afraid that Yun Chuzhou would make her fulfill her promise. However, she did not know if Yun Chuzhou had forgotten about the bet and did not even mention it. Shuo Piaoyu was on tenterhooks. It was as if a sword were hanging above her head, ready to fall at any moment. Every time Yun Chuzhou looked over, she felt her heart was in her throat. Yun Chuzhou was secretly enjoying this. Little fellow, I'll torture you to death. I'll let you live in fear and trepidation for the rest of your life. I'm scaring myself with these thoughts. Shuo Piaoyu could not stand this torture anymore. She took the initiative to look for Peak Master Yuan and recounted everything that had happened. She cried and begged him to help her plead for mercy. Peak Master Yuan had always placed great importance on Shuo Piaoyu. After reprimanding her, he dragged Peak Master Yu of Middle Peak to look for Yun Chujiu to plead for Zhuo Piaoyu. Little Jiu, I've already reprimanded that child, Piaoyu. Regarding the bet, do you think you can make an exception? Peak Master Yuan said with a flushed face. Peak Master Yu, who was at the side, also advised, Little Jiu, you have to forgive and forget. You can't really demote Zhuo Piaoyu to an inner sect disciple just because of a bet. It won't look good if word gets out. Yun Chujiu smiled faintly, two Peak Masters, I don't know what version you heard, but at that time, Zhuo Piaoyu was the one who took the initiative to set up the bet and said that whoever goes back on their word would be a turtle bastard. After thinking a short while she added, how about this? Since she wants to go back on her word, that's fine too. If she walks around outside with a turtle bastard sign, the bet will be voided. The corners of Peak Master Yuan and Peak Master Yu's eyes twitched violently. If they did that, they might as well have Zhuo Piaoyu demoted to an inner disciple. I'm just saying this out of anger. How about this, since the two of you have come to plead for her, add another 1,000,000 spirit stones to the original 1,000,000 spirit stones, and this matter will be over. However, Peak Master Yuan, I advise you to take a good look at this successive disciple of yours. The white lotus flower needs refinement. Chapter 491, Elder Brother's spirit stones are yours to spend as you wish. A white lotus flower needing refinement. Peak Master Yuan and Peak Master Yu exchanged a glance. What did a white lotus flower needing refinement mean? Yun Chujiu couldn't be bothered to explain it to them. In any case, Peak Master Yuan, you just have to pay attention. With your intelligence, you'll soon discover the problem. You can't just look at the surface of things. Go back and think about it yourself. Yun Chujiu accepted the 2,000,000 low-grade spirit stones that Peak Master Yuan had transferred over and waved her hands to send the guest off. Peak Master Yuan took Yun Chujiu's words to heart and decided to keep an eye out for Zhuo Piaoyu's actions in the future. The four great sects had all set up camp, preparing for the competition in 2 days. Yun Chujiu's thoughts had long flown to Wuwei City. She heard that Wuwei City was very lively, and she wanted to go for a stroll there. However, now that the competition was about to start, even if she proposed it, Master Xianyuan would not agree, so she did not want to bring trouble herself. Just as Yun Chujiu was bored to death, a flying spirit tool flew over from afar. Little sister Jiu. Big brother is here to see you. Xue Wuji gracefully jumped down from the flying spirit tool. His bright red clothes were blown up by the wind, attracting the attention of a group of women. Big brother Wuji, it's not even my birthday yet. Why are you here? Yun Chujiu cursed in her heart. Although this fellow was a little silly, he was indeed very pleasing to the eye. Unfortunately, the pretty boy did not allow me to draw his figure. If I were to draw a few portraits, it would sell like crazy. That expressionless man thinks he can stall me just because he wants to find something to do. In your dreams. It just so happens that he's not here. Big brother will bring you to Wuwei City for a stroll. You can buy whatever you want. Big brother will pay for it. Big brother is really rich. Xue Wuji changed his usual stingy personality, he said heroically. Yun Chujiu's eyes lit up. How could she miss such a good opportunity? She went and shamelessly begged Master Xianyuan to give her a day off. Master Xianyuan couldn't bear her coquettish manner and could only nod in agreement. However, he told her that she had to be back before nightfall. Yun Chujiu repeatedly promised and then hopped along with Xue Wuji as they rushed to Wuwei City. Wuwei City was very lively. Many cultivators knew that the four major sects were going to hold a competition here for 30 years, so they came to watch the show. The competition 2 days later especially attracted many cultivators. Some vendors quickly seized the business opportunity. Whether it was the shops or the roadside vendors, they tried their best to attract customers. The first thing Yun Chujiu did was eat. She and Xue Wuji found a restaurant. After the waiter brought the menu, Yun Chujiu asked Xue Wuji seriously, Brother Wuji, are you really the one paying for everything? Shui Wuji brushed his hair and said affectionately, Sister Little Jiu, when you are with me in the future, I will pay for all the expenses. You are right. You don't have to bring spirit stones with you. As long as you are happy, you can spend my spirit stones however you like. Yun Chujiu shivered. Brother Wuji, can you speak properly? Why do I feel so cold when you speak like that? Shui Wuji was about to say something more romantic, but he held back. This little girl was so unromantic. Forget it, let's take it slow. Little sister Jiu, you order the dishes. After we finish eating, I will take you out for a walk. Shui Wuji decided to go with her tastes. This little girl was gluttonous, so he would let her eat to her heart's content. Yun Chujiu did not stand on ceremony. She picked the most expensive dishes and ordered a large table full of dishes. She ate happily. Seeing that she was eating happily, Shui Wuji felt a little hungry. The two of them chatted as they ate. The atmosphere was very harmonious. Chapter 492, Prince Charming. What a coincidence. After the meal, Yun Chujiu and Shui Wuji first went to the snack shop to buy a bunch of candied fruits, preserved fruits, and dried fruits. Then, they went to the delicatessen shop to buy a lot of cooked food and kept them in their storage rings. Then, Yun Chujiu dived into the final destination of this trip, the shop that sold storybooks. When Yun Chujiu entered the storybook shop, she was like a fish in water. The selection was so wide that she could not stop buying every book she saw. This book was not bad, and that book was also very good. She ended up buying several hundred books. When Shui Wuji paid, he was staggered when he saw the covers of those books. The harem of a beautiful man with a smiling face, a handsome man sitting in a row, every husband is beautiful. After leaving the store, Shui Wuji coughed dryly twice. Little sister Jiu, your interest is very unique. It really surprised me. Brother Wuji, do you want to read it too? I have 2 books here. Take them and read them. They are very good. I can already recite them fluently. Yun Chujiu took out 2 books with bald edges from her storage ring and handed them to Shui Wuji. After Shui Wuji took them, he felt that he was in a bad mood. One of them was, The Daily Life of a Flower-Picking Female Thief, and the other was, The Empress Male Pets. Shui Wuji felt that the 2 books in his hands were a little inappropriate, so he hurriedly stuffed them into Yun Chujiu's hands. Little sister Jiu, it's better if you keep them for yourself. I'm not interested. Brother Wuji, take them and read them. They're really beautiful. Why don't you show them to the beauties in your palace? They'll definitely like them. Yun Chujiu felt that she had spent a lot of spirit stones on Shui Wuji today. If she didn't give him something in return, she would feel a little guilty. Cough, cough. The main reason was that she was just bored of reading these 2 books. They don't want to read them either. You should keep them for yourself. Shui Wuji couldn't imagine what would happen if he took these 2 scripts back. Those beauties would think that I'm a pervert. Aya, don't be polite. Take them. Little sister Jiu, you should keep them. Brother Wuji, you don't have to be polite with me. Just take them. Yun Chujiu felt that her hands were empty. Then, she heard a voice that was gnashing her teeth. Black thing, what is this? Yun Chujiu's head buzzed. Fuck, why did the gigolo appear every time she was out with Wuji? I think these 2 must be having an affair. Yun Chujiu blinked at Shui Wuji desperately and then turned around, her face full of surprise. My Prince Charming, what a coincidence. You are shopping too. We are fated to meet each other. I predicted that we would meet here today, so I asked Brother Wuji to come with me. Ah, my Prince Charming, don't misunderstand. Everyone else is preparing for the competition. It is not safe for a weak girl like me to come out alone. Moreover, I am so beautiful. It is really not safe. Let me ask you, what is this? Di Baiming's face was livid as he waved the notebook in his hand. This is what my brother Wuji bought just now. He said that he wanted to lend it to me to take a look. I thought of your teachings and said that I don't want it no matter what. Just like that. Brother Wuji, tell me, is this what happened? Yun Chujiu turned her head and asked Shui Wuji. Shui Wuji saw that Yun Chujiu's eyes were about to twitch. He gritted his teeth. Yes, that's right. This is what happened. Recently, I have fallen in love with this kind of book. The content is very interesting. I take it out to have a look whenever I have nothing to do. Can't you see that it's turning bald from overuse? Chapter 493, The Black Thing is Mine. Di Baiming sneered, do you too think I'm an idiot? Shui Wuji, this is between me and the black thing. Get lost. Otherwise, it'll make your blood demon sect completely disappear. Shui Wuji narrowed his eyes. Di Baiming, do you think I'm afraid of you? Many young masters just don't want little sister Jiu to see a joke. Since you want to fight so much, I'll indulge you to the end. Di Baiming waved his hand, the two words instantly turned into ashes. Shui Wuji, I'll first send the black thing back to the Wuwei Tower's camp. Then, we'll find a place to have a good spar. Ever since the last battle, I've always wanted to have a good spar with you. Shui Wuji sneered. I brought little sister Jiu out. Naturally, I'll be sending her back. Get lost. The black thing belongs to me. There's no need for you to send her home. Get lost. Di Baiming felt a ball of fire in his heart. Although the matter did not come to an end last time, he inexplicably sensed an impending crisis. This time, seeing the two of them pulling and tugging at each other on the street, he was even more furious. Little sister Jiu is yours. Are you shameless? Did you marry her or did she marry you? Or is she your spiritual pet? You're too controlling. Shui Wuji lazily brushed his hair and said mockingly. On the street, two outstanding men were fighting over the same woman, which immediately ignited the gossip among the onlookers. Oh, how interesting. That little girl is so bland. I didn't expect her to be so capable. Those two look like they come from extraordinary backgrounds. Even good cabbages have been eaten by pigs. I think the one in white is not bad. I can tell that he is a decent person at a glance. The one in red looks demonic no matter how I look at him. TSK. The one in white looks like he wants to eat people. The one in red is better. He looks easy to get along with. Yun Chujiu saw that the two of them were at daggers drawn, so she raised her hands weakly. Stop quarreling, both of you, send me back together. It's a misunderstanding, it's all a misunderstanding. Why don't we go back and fight the landlord? Shut up. Di Baiming glared at her fiercely. Di Baiming, don't scold little sister Jiu. Little sister Jiu is not your subordinate, what right do you have to always be fierce to little sister Jiu? Little sister Jiu, don't be afraid, big brother will take care of you from now on. Shui Wuji said indignantly. Shui Wuji, it's not your place to tell me what to do. Do you think I'm willing to talk nonsense with you? I just don't like how you treat little sister Jiu. Girls are like delicate flowers that need to be carefully protected. You don't deserve little Jiu with how rough you treat her. You black thing, come with me. Di Baiming could not win against Shui Wuji, so he simply grabbed Yun Chujiu's arm and flew away on his sword. Seeing the two of them leave, Shui Wuji glanced at the surrounding crowd and said, Hua Hua, let those talkative people who speak ill of me learn their lesson. After saying that, Shui Wuji rode his sword and chased after Di Baiming and Yun Chujiu. Secret Agent Hua Hua was about to make a move when she saw An Feng walk out from the corner. The two of them looked at each other and smiled bitterly. They quickly beat up the onlookers and then chased after the three people in front of them. The two of them felt so miserable that they cried silently along the way. The two malefactors were actually quarreling in the street. If this were to spread to the Tianyuan continent, it would make people laugh their heads off. Chapter 494, How Could He Be Jealous? Yun Chujo was almost out of breath from Di Baiming's embrace. She said pitifully, "Prince Charming, I can't breathe. It'd be better to fly by myself on the chopping board." If Yun Chujo said this normally, Di Baiming would not think too much about it. However, after the argument with Xue Wuji, Yun Chujia's words sounded like she did not want to ride the sword with him. Like she wanted to stay away from him. Di Baiming's gripped her harder. "Black thing, you belong to me. Don't even think about leaving me." Yun Chujo felt some pain from Di Baiming's pincer-like arm. She could not help but frown. "You're hurting me." "Humph. Xue Wuji is right. You're really like a delicate flower." Di Baiming's face was livid, but his grip loosened. Yun Chujo cursed in her heart. This gigolo, bastard. How could he be jealous? If she had known this would happen, she would have admitted that those words were originally hers. However, if she admitted it now, the gigolo would definitely think that she and Wuji had joined forces to lie to him. He would probably get angrier. What should she do? If these two really fought, both of them would suffer heavy injuries. Very soon, they arrived at the place where the Linghua faction had set up camp. Di Baiming carried Yun Chujo down from the flying sword. Instantly, some female disciples started to whisper among themselves with jealousy. "This Yun Chujo is amazing. When she went off, she was with Yun Chuling. Now, she's back with young Master Di. She has one in the morning and one in the afternoon. Comparing people is so infuriating." "That's right. This Yun Chujo is just lucky. She could even pass through the Wuwei Tower. What does this man count as? Who knows, she might change to another in a few days." While they were talking happily, they were suddenly forced to kneel on the ground by a terrifying pressure. Di Baiming looked at them coldly. "Do you want to die?" The female disciples did not doubt that if they said yes, Di Baiming would really kill them. "Get lost." Di Baiming waved his sleeve, and the female disciples scrambled away. "Prince Charming, you are so handsome. I like your clear-cut personality the most. You should treat me as warm as spring, and as cruel and merciless as the cold winter. Prince Charming, are you tired? Sit down and rest for a while. I'll massage your shoulders for you." Yun Chujo said obsequiously. Di Baiming snorted coldly and ignored her. His eyes were burning with anger as he looked at Xue Wuji, who was flying over on his sword. Yun Chujo rolled her eyes. She turned around and ran into the temporary meeting room. "Sect Master! Sect Master! My Prince Charming and Wuji are about to fight. Just say that you'll treat them to a meal. Hurry up. If they fight, both of them will be injured. Besides, they may be able to help in the competition in 2 days." When Master Xianyuan heard this, he quickly brought a group of elders outside. As expected, Di Baiming and Xue Wuji were like two roosters fighting for luck. "Young Master Di, young Master Yun, long time no see. Please come in," Master Xianyuan said with a smile. Although Di Baiming and Xue Wuji didn't think much of the Linghua sect, because of Yun Chujo, they were still polite to Master Xianyuan. When Yun Chujo saw that the two of them didn't directly reject him, so she directly grabbed Di Baiming's arm and pulled him in. As long as the pretty boy was restrained, Wuji would not take the initiative to start a fight unless he wanted to be tortured. As expected, Xue Wuji's eyes flashed when he saw Di Baiming enter the meeting room and followed him in. "You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.